right now. Yeah, that's... Oh my goodness, guys, the green room today. Welcome back to the channel. The green room is pumping today. They're out of control. They really are. They're out of control. How are you doing? Geez, some people have been here for 30 minutes. Would you believe that? My goodness. It's just crazy. Matt, you need to get a life, mate. Honestly. You can cook dinner, or you can cook dinner. We all come round. So yeah, the green room today, people were chucking bloody M&Ms, and there's TVs in the pool, and geez. But anyway, I'll introduce you to those guys in a minute. And I'll switch them on and turn them on and all that good stuff. Hey, so let's see who we've got. Hey Zero, hey Pixel, how are you? Heather, hey Matt, Tony was here, VG is here, strangely enough, Draco is here. My goodness, it's a cast of 1,000. Beezer, how are you, mate? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, some Fallout news coming through today. The Pit in Fallout 76 is live. It's live for you to download and fill your boots, and it's 63 gigabytes for me on thank you so much, Zero. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, mate. 63 gigabytes on my Xbox, so yeah. And they decided to do it on the same day as Sniper Elite is updating in Division 2, so that's going to take a while for me. Also, there is something happening with White Springs in 76. Very, very strange kind of tweet by Bethesda saying, go to White Springs and say goodbye to it because it's going to change forever. So I don't know what the heck's going to go on. Oh, look, there's an old friend there. Local for Park. How are you, Gary? Welcome to the stream. Yeah. Anyway, so that's all happening, guys. So if you want to jump back into 76, it might take a day or so, but there might be some interesting stuff happening over there. Also, this... No worries. We might. Mike is in my ear as usual, so he said he will possibly give you an insight into that once we switch the button on, because nobody can hear him at the moment. So no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Mikey. Actually, why not switch these guys on? There we go. They can hear you now, so no swearing.
No one say anything.
So we have a fantastic panel tonight, guys, for the second episode. Thank you so much for all the support on this series so far. I am really having a blast. I get passionate about doing these episodes every week now because the inspiration for the community, and that's kind of sort of where this all started. Watched a couple of community members, got inspired and started putting this whole series together, and your comments are fantastic, creative. There's lots of ways the new game could go, and lots of ideas I hadn't thought about, and the community always comes to the fore and never disappoints in the way that the game could go, and we're going to talk about that today. So we have back today Mikey. Hello, Mikey. How you doing? Quick Smoke.
Great. I'm here.
Fantastic. We have Shell is back. How are you, VG?
Good, thank you.
Excellent. Vic is back. Draco is back. How are you, Vic?
I'm fantastic as always.
And we have a very, very special guest. Now, to get this guy, holy crap.
Oh, shit.
Oh, holy crap, did I have to do some negotiating. He wanted his own dressing room. The temperature had to be a certain level. He wanted a certain colour of M&Ms. But we got past all that. So I'd like to welcome Local for Pack. How are you, Gary?
That's quite the build-up. Thank you. How's it going, everybody?
Not too bad. Now, for those of you that have been around the channel for a while, you will know Gary. But if you don't, please go and check out his channel. He is doing an epic build on the Millennium Falcon at the moment. He says that he's just about to record episode 139 of that build. So go out and check his channel. Everything, all the links for all the panel, their channels is in the description. So there's no excuse why you wouldn't go and show them some G4 love. G'day, 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 everybody that is here. Wow, there are still some seats. I put extra seats. There's some garden chairs up the back, so just get comfy, guys, because we're going to be here a while.
Gary, quick question. Is it actually going to take you longer to build the Millennium Falcon than they built the real one?
Oh, yeah. they built the real one, and this was for the first Star Wars movie, and it was 5 foot long, so it was a bigger version than what I'm building, and they did it in like 5 weeks.
Yeah, but how many people?
So, yes.
How many people did they have building it though?
7. and they were experienced modelers.
Wow. Well, I think the Lego version of the Millennium Falcon Pro. Oh no, it wasn't the Millennium Falcon they made. It was what was it? It was one of those. I forget what it was, but I don't know if you've seen that one that was in New York.
Yeah, I know they've done some really epic ones.
Death Star. That's right.
It
was amazing.
Yeah, they've got a couple of really epic ones. My daughter wants a Star Destroyer. I'm like, good luck with that. Where are you gonna put it?
I put together the 2,600 piece Star Destroyer, and it took me 20 hours to do it.
Yeah.
The Millennium Falcon is 7,400 pieces, though.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous amount.
They're not messing around with that thing. Yeah, right now, just to throw it out here to everybody, right now I'm at 171 hours and 27 minutes of build time, but that's not counting the last handful, probably 15 videos I haven't recorded my time period in here, so I'm probably getting close to 200 hours worth of building.
Wow. I can.
That kind of man hours.
Well, go on, Mike. Go, Mikey. Go.
I was gonna say, with that kind of man hours, you better be able to hit warp speed with that.
No kidding, right? Punch it, Chewie.
Now I
think that's how long it took me to build in Sanctuary the first time.
Wow. I cannot deny or confirm that there will be no brown M&Ms in this version of the stream. So just putting that out there because there was a comment in the chat. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to try and balance the audio a little better this week, guys, so just give me some feedback on that. Hey, Eric, welcome to the stream. And you're not going to get to look at my lovely head. You're going to get to look at some Fallout footage. There you go. So,
Slacker.
Just let me see if I've switched on the... Yep, I have. That's it. Okay. Rightio. So I think the last part of the discussion that we ended with last couple of weeks ago was sort of around the settlement management kind of building side of Fallout. And I know I want to look at that a little bit more in depth today in the building side of things, which I think maybe a few people on the panel might have used in the past. But I just want to frame this very, very quickly, and then I'm going to ask the panel a question, and I'll probably be sitting here in about 2 hours and ask them another question. But anyway, so we come out of the vault in Fallout 4. We go down into Sanctuary, we talk to Cogsworth, and very quickly we have to go to the museum and save Preston Garvey, which, depending on your point of view, might be a mistake. But anyway, that's what we do. We go down and we find all Preston's friends and we bring them back to Sanctuary. And there begins this whole kind of storyline for the Minutemen. You know, regenerating the Commonwealth, but one settlement at a time. You remember the famous phrase about one settlement at a time, and boy, oh boy, does that come true very quickly, because suddenly you need to go and speak to somebody at a settlement. And then they need some protection, so you've got to deal with some super mutants or whatever. And then when you're doing that, in the middle of that, some other settlement needs saving because they're being attacked, and so it goes on. So the reason I'm mentioning that is that, though, in Fallout 4, there very much was a purpose for why the kind of settlement management whole kind of mini game, whatever you want to call it, was there. There was a whole storyline. There was a lot of quests that you had to do. And it was all around a faction. It was all faction driven, if you want to call the Minutemen a faction. And so there was a purpose in that. And the building element of it was part of facilitating that whole thing. Now, what happened with the building component of settlement management is what we're going to talk about today, because that's not what Bethesda, when they put that together, I'm sure weren't expecting for us to do what we did with it. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But just framing that for Fallout 4. First time they'd ever done anything like that. Boom, there you go. Huge success. So then we move on to Fallout 76. And suddenly, building is a selling point of Fallout 76. Look, we have got a building component in Fallout 76, and you can pick it up and you can take it over here and you can build this and you can build that. But there really wasn't any link to really any quest lines. There was no settlement building in 76. Now, it is an online game, so that's part of the reason. But, you know, it really was just building a camp, building a player home, and that's pretty much it. So, you've got one game that tries this building component and a settlement with very kind of structured quest line and faction line and everything, and then this next time they use it, there's basically they just drop it in the game, and for me, and please argue this, there's very little reason why it's in there other than I would assume that by that point it was clear that the community was rather split, in that there are some people that love the building component of Fallout 4 and other members of the community that really couldn't give a monkeys about it, and so they had to pacify both. Now, the fact that it was in 76, I think, attests to the fact that the building component in 4 was very popular. Now, long drawn out conversation, but the question to the panel is, for the next Fallout 4, how are they going to integrate the building component into Fallout 5? Are they going to integrate it into Fallout 5? And given that they've already done settlements, and then they went away from settlements in 76, what do you think, guys? Your chance. I'm going to shut up now.
I have the feeling that, at the very least, they're not going to do... They've probably gotten enough feedback about people being annoyed by always being hounded by Preston Garvey, or every time you walk into a settlement, or, you know, whatever it is, talking about needing to, you know, go help another settlement. There's probably been enough feedback to have them not do that whole management aspect of it.
Do you think? I didn't think Preston was that annoying.
I actually didn't mind him. I mean, like, you can take the hit, you know, and it's like, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm in the middle of this. I want to do this or whatever. So you could take the hit if you really felt like it. Or, you know, if you're not playing in survival, you just quick travel over there, take care of whatever the heck it was, and, you know, and you could take the mission and hold on to it for a little bit before you completed it. You know, you just had to pay attention to how soon you had to get it done. I didn't mind it so much. I know there's a lot of people that absolutely, you know, hated it. But
I have a question, Gary. Did you fire Preston out of a cannon?
I did not. I fired Marcy out of a cannon. I was telling everybody about this when we were in the green screen, or the green room. I'm going to put that video out as a YouTube short, because it was one of my first videos, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that have not seen it, and it is a riot watching her go, legs flailing through the air, getting shot out of that cannon. It was great fun.
It could be a Fallout challenge coming up with that one.
It could be, yeah. See how far you can shoot her.
Got to get the right trajectory.
So
That's right.
I kind of like that idea. What's the most creative way you could shoot her out of a cannon?
Now that's a build challenge I can get behind. Everyone gets to build a cannon to
Right?
shoot Marcy across the Commonwealth. I said it last 2 weeks ago, and I'll say it again. If Preston, the mistake Bethesda made with Preston was that they made him the mouthpiece for another settlement needs your help. No other companion that you had was tied to anything in the game like that, tied to a mechanic like that. They should have taken that away from Preston long before the game released and given it to just some random Minuteman that runs up into whatever settlement you're in and says, "Oh, I found you, General. Great. Here's another settlement that needs your help." And if they had removed that from Preston Garvey, he would have been a completely different companion, in my
Oh,
opinion.
it ruins
Oh,
him
yeah.
as a companion.
Yeah, it did.
For most everybody, right?
Yep.
And he really is a good companion.
Mhm.
He's a great character all in all. His story
He's a bit of a wet
is
noodle, actually, but
he's a bit of a wet noodle, but his story is pretty good. He's kind of got the hardship stuff going and all that kind of stuff, and he's just trying to do right by all the settlers and everything like that. But yeah, it ruins him from that standpoint on. That's a great point.
Well, I agree with 90% of what Vic says here, but he wasn't the only mouthpiece, and people forget that. Don't forget that if you turned on Radio Freedom, even if you weren't with Preston, you still got another settlement needs your help. But what they should have done is the minute you put up Radio Freedom, take it away from Preston Garvey.
Sure.
Maybe have him say once in a while, hey, you going to answer that call?
But when I say mouthpiece, Deacon isn't saying, "Oh my God, the railroad needs you for something."
No.
That's my
Right.
point. There's no other companion that's tied to a faction that is a mouthpiece.
Well, there is one.
And that was the problem.
There is one guy when you go to the North Church that keeps coming up and saying, "Oh, such and such wants to talk to you," but it was less annoying than, constantly getting these pop-ups.
Well, yeah, but to Vic's point, that wasn't Deacon doing it. Right?
No, it wasn't.
That was just a random railroad dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is how it should have been with the Minutemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
So
There still was a workaround with him, though,
do you
to get him
it's
to
called
not
mods.
send you out.
do you think there is going to be a building component in Fallout 5?
Yes.
Which so.
Yes.
Yes.
How are they
Yeah.
going? How are they going to integrate it into the game?
It all
Poorly.
depends on the. There you go. It all depends on the storyline, really, because we know that there's a building component in Starfield, and we know what that's going to be. Okay, you're building these outposts on planets and stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay, I would venture a guess and say that there's going to be a building component in the next Elder Scrolls as well.
No. No, I don't want to see that. I really, really don't.
Oops! Don't mention the war.
Well, it's a
It
mixed
just
bag.
depends
Yes,
on
I kind of
how
would,
they
but
put
no.
it. You know.
Yep.
I don't want it in every Bethesda game, though. It's great for Fallout. It makes sense in Fallout because you are in the wasteland and you need to rebuild, find a home, make a place for yourself to live, help different communities. That makes sense. But Elder Scrolls is a totally different environment and feel and world.
What if
You
it's
don't
just
need to do that.
making your own, like just a single, like player home
Like,
thing?
right.
And see,
That's already in
But are they
Skyrim,
going
right?
to stop at that? No, they're not going to stop at that.
here's the thing. Go on, Mikey. Go.
I'm just going to touch on the Skyrim part of it. I can agree with VG. I think the resources that you had to gather and everything to build that one house is ridiculous. I would like to see a customization of the house. Like, if you want all armor in just one bedroom, be able to put up more armor dummies in places to hold your weapons. Be able to change the room around. But one house only. I think they put in way too many player homes, which helped out for the people who played survival. But if you don't mind fast traveling, then one player home. Customizable.
Well, they gave you an option. You didn't have to build all three of them. They gave you an option of where you wanted to build. You could have the winter farm, you could have the slightly colder area, or you could have the nice lakeside area. You didn't have to build all three of those.
So here's the thing, and it was something I was thinking about a couple of days ago. So everybody around this table, it's a very big table. It's very nice, mahogany. Everybody around this table, think of the building mode in Fallout 4 as, we're going to put a physical building together, walls and a roof. But when you stop and think about it, the building mode in Fallout 4 was so much more than that, and in 76, because you're building power, you're building beds, you're building generators. You've got to build shops for that, workbenches, power armor stations. So all of that's got to be incorporated in the next Fallout. There's just no argument. So when we talk about building mode, there's so much more than just what we do with that crazy stuff like, pillar glitching a roof into the house in Sanctuary or whatever it might be. Bloody hell, which takes hours to get one piece to go. But anyway, so it's got to be there. One of the ideas I kind of had was, and it was building on what we discussed the last time, was, and see how you think about it, because it rolls into the discussion that I want to have about factions today, is how would you feel about having a map that's got different sections in it, like 76? So say, I don't know what the number would be, so say it's got 5 different sections in the map, and each section is a faction section. And within that faction part of the map, so say Raiders, for instance, they have one main settlement. That's their base. And so you go into that part of the map and you start doing quests for them. And as you do quests for them, you start earning things within that major settlement, like building sets. So if you complete the whole Raiders area, you get the whole Raiders building set to play with. But then you can build little outposts from that. But things like a generator, basically you go out and you get components and you come back and you repair it. You don't actually have to physically build it. And so that's sort of where my ideas started to generate. How would you feel about that kind of scenario? So you've only got 5 major settlements, basically, is what I'm saying, if it's 5 areas on the map. In the
To an extent, New Vegas has done that. I mean, the different groups are in very specific areas. Like the Legion, while spread out everywhere, only has 2 camps, Cottonwood Cove and their main Legion base. And you've got the NCR, which they're a little bit more randomly dotted around, but you're not going to see the Legion over, say, up by Red Rock Canyon. I've never seen them up in that area where the cons live. And the powder gangers are in a very specific area, the NCRCF. There are a few that kind of broke off. One group of them took over a vault, and a couple others that had broken off from them, and you find them. But for the most part, they're not everywhere on the map. The Fiends are over by, Vault 3 and kind of hanging around New Vegas. You're not going to see them down by Cottonwood Cove. So to an extent, it's been done.
But not with a
So
build.
I don't see why they wouldn't continue it.
Not with a build mode, and also
Not with a build mode, no.
what I thought it would do is it doesn't tie those people that don't want to be tied to the build mode. Really aren't tied to the build mode. It could almost be like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where if you want to add a preset building into there, bang, it's done. It's similar to what we're talking about last week. But if you want to build that building on your own, then they will give you the tools to do that. So either or. But if you just want to go out and quest, there's minimal that you have to do to that major settlement.
So I have some questions. Go ahead, Mikey.
I mean, that just really goes back to what Vic said last time.
Yep.
And implement Sim Cities into it as well as a build mode.
Yep.
Where if you want to just quest, but you have to make a part of a settlement, boom, there's a preset. Build it yourself. Let the computer generate it, and you go about your day.
Yeah, but then it becomes a Sims game.
Or in the options
it's still
menu.
a Fallout game, except the one aspect that you really don't care for, the settlement building. If part of settlement building is tied to a quest, and you have sim settlements that can fulfill that requirement for that quest, the people that don't want to build don't need to build.
Yep.
They can put down their little prefab thing, let it build its own thing,
and go
come
away
back
and do
later
something.
and pick it up.
Yep.
So it's not a sim manager, I don't think.
Yep.
Or why not just have a setting in options that says Do you want to do your own building? Then you turn that
Oh,
on.
yeah.
If you don't, then you don't do anything, and it's just you go in, you hand over the supplies that you need, like in Valhalla, to upgrade the settlement, and boom, it's done.
Yep. Yep.
So that gives you that choice.
Hey Jet, welcome, mate. And Bisa, don't worry.
Not a bad idea.
I'm thinking.
Well-
I'm thinking of the after you've played the game, you'll be able to build everywhere. So don't worry in that system. He's go on, Gary.
I was just curious, like, were you thinking of having preset spots where you could build, or just by doing their quests you get the stuff and you can still build wherever you want? Because I really like the idea of, and it was talked about in your last conversation,
Yep.
about just being able to plop down and build wherever you wanted. I could see them limiting you to, say, 5 settlements, doing that, but it would be, you'd plop it down and be a permanent location then.
Okay,
You
so
could fast travel to it and all that kind of stuff, but doing that faction's quests would give you all the, if you want to call them recipes or
yep.
blueprints or whatever, to be able to build all of their specific stuff.
Yep.
You would earn those. Or were you thinking of, like, if you're going to build in their area, it has to be in this one location, very much like, a settlement in Fallout 4.
No, my idea is, and it was based on what the discussion we had last week. My idea is, right, okay, so in one part of the map, it's faction based, so there's different factions in different parts of the map, and there's one major settlement that you can spend time building in if you like, but you also have your portable little camp or place, workshop anywhere where you can build, and I would put in inverted commas, a outpost anywhere you like within that map, and then if you cross into another area which is run by another faction and build a raiders outpost in a Minuteman, that causes conflict of some kind. Now I don't know if that's possible, but it gives you the scope to just build anywhere you like, but the main settlement, there's only one per section of the map, so you're not getting 29 settlements that are hard settlements that you have to protect and build in and all the rest of it. So that's
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, an interesting aspect to that is if they actually go back to having a true karma system, like
Well, I was going to say, are
like
you
New
saying
Vegas, then, like, how many pains in the ass would that be?
Yep.
But it could be fun to try to
No, I
manage
think
your
they
karma
need
in
it.
each area.
No, I think you need a karma system.
absolutely.
Oh, I agree. I think you definitely need a karma system. I think it would add a very interesting aspect to it, especially for if you want to do the building and you have to make sure that you're in good karma. Otherwise, they're going to be harassing you, maybe kick you out of their area.
Yep.
If you're,
Right.
if you get to be too close with, say, the Minutemen, then, Brotherhood of Steel or whoever would kick you out, type of thing. That would be a very interesting way to have to manage things.
Mhm.
And just gameplay period, I think you need to have a good quality karma system.
Yep.
I think so as well. But now, are you saying that the build pieces that you earn, say the Raider build pieces, are they going to be tied to like the Raider karma system? So if I want to use a Raider fence in a Minuteman area, is that going to earn me ill will with the Minutemen?
I'm just suggesting that could possibly spice up the game a little.
I think it would be interesting.
It would be an interesting twist on it. Because here's my sorry, go on.
No, continue your idea. I'll elaborate on mine.
No, do yours first because I'm going to chuck a spanner in the works in a minute. So.
Well, I like the idea of if you gain karma in an area, you unlock plans.
Yep.
But one of our biggest bitches about any Fallout is, well, why didn't they put that asset in it? Why didn't they put that? So you're going to want to put whatever you earned in whatever place you build.
And I was talking about in the first video that I put out about the customization of the game and how that I believe the customization of the Fallout game needs to be more done with that. And maybe then, longer term, if you just want to build anywhere and do some interesting structures with pieces, then there is a toggle switch that just switches any kind of conflict or karma system off for you, and you can just build wherever you like.
All right.
Go on, Vic.
I think the building system should be something between Fallout 4 and 76.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah, so you have your outpost that you can build pretty much where you want. You have some bigger settlement. But, and I want to address something really quick. When I mentioned Sim Settlements, it's an actual mod on the PC side.
Yep.
Yeah, but the chat doesn't.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So I'm seeing comments in chat. Sim Settlements, you pick whether, okay, this plot is going to be residential, it's going to be a commercial plot, or it's going to be a garden plot, or whatever.
Yep.
And then it starts to build up. And as you do things around the facility, it's like you tell the settlers, okay, you can put your house here, and they put up a little shack.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not saying that all of Sim Settlements needs to be included in the building segment, but there is a large contingent of Fallout 4 players that hated the building system.
Absolutely.
And while we're all dreaming about the game that we want, Bethesda's not going to give us everything that we want. They're trying to appeal to as many people as possible.
Absolutely.
Considering that they're going to be Microsoft exclusive now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that being said, Vic, I agree with you. It should be implemented, but like what VG said, maybe in the beginning before you even start questing, it gives you the option. Hey, do you want to be physically responsible for building your settlement, or do you want a sim type of settlement?
Well, however they implement it, it doesn't matter. Some people are saying, "Oh God, I don't want that in the game." Well, for you, it wouldn't be in the game because you enjoy building. So you would do whatever it was, whether it's a setting or just screw it, I'm just building, and that's how the game knows that, okay, we don't need some settlements here, because they're building on their own. However they do it, us builders are just going to build. But to say, oh my God, I don't want that in the game, now we're cutting out a large section of the potential gaming segment.
Absolutely.
And while we would all love a perfect Bethesda Fallout building game, they're not going to make it for us, guys.
No.
They're going to make it as broad as they possibly can.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Vic, and that's the reason why they won't have, going clear back to G4's original question about settlement management, they won't have that in the next Fallout, because there was more players that did not care. As much as we all love building, there's more players that did not care about building than there were that build.
Sure.
So they're not going to put that in the game and then turn all of them off. That doesn't mean they're not going to have some sort of building that will be better than 76, to your point, but it's not going to be a major mechanic of the game, I don't think.
Right.
And
I agree, Beezer. There is, if they stray from single player game and start putting in pay to play and crap like that, I'm out.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
done.
Me too.
I think they learned their lesson though.
So thank you very much, Gary, because you just chucked the spanner into the mix that I was going to sort of chuck in. Because here's no problem. I'll pay you later.
Their notes or something.
Oh, there's money.
You didn't get yours?
I'll pay.
No, I didn't get the notes.
I'll pay you in caps. That's the thing about the next Fallout. If you really think about it. So Fallout 4 is fairly unique and very popular, and one of the reasons it's got replayability is it had this whole system in it with a building component in it and settlement management in it, right? But they've done that, and they completely went away from it in 76. And if they go back to it, they're just going to be criticised for saying, oh, well, we've just copy and pasted the buildings from the whole kind of gameplay and philosophy and building from Fallout 4 and put it in the new game. That's not what we want. So
No. Okay.
New graphics and a different story, same old stuff, right?
Yeah.
Really quickly, they had to change the building mechanics for 76.
Understand
and
that.
it's not a technical thing.
Yep.
It's there's no one to inhabit your settlement if
Yeah.
you built a settlement in 76
Yeah.
because
You're
we were
the
only
people.
humans. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
there were no
That's it.
humans to start with, anyways, so there was no one to tell you, hey, can you go build something here?
Right.
Yep.
So that's why they went with an outpost system.
Yep.
Smaller building area because you're building for you and maybe your couple friends that you play with.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I understand that. And just like someone says, oh shit, if what they have in Starfield, I don't want that in my next Fallout. No, but it works for Starfield.
Yep.
Putting
Right.
down this modular thing is what you would do if you were setting up a base on a planet
Yep.
like Mars, you know? So, and again, if they have a building element, going back to what I was saying 15 minutes ago, if they have a building element for Elder Scrolls 6, it's going to have to be catered to the world of Elder Scrolls, whatever
Yeah.
that means.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Okay, whether it's you're only building up your own house, or maybe you are building a small little outpost, kind of like a traveling kind of a thing, where you can only set up like 2 or 3 of them. But those are like your bases of operation as you're moving around the Elder Scrolls map, wherever we happen to be in Elder Scrolls. So as long as they keep adapting and improving the building mechanic in and of itself, and if they get a grasp on, okay, this fits with the lore, this fits with the story, this kind of building thing that we're doing here, whether it's an outpost in 76 or a modular type system in Starfield, as long as it fits in with the story and the lore of the game, I'm all for it. Bring it.
I think the location also matters, because one of the reasons why the settlements in Fallout 4 worked well is, I wouldn't say great, but it worked well, was the concept of the Minutemen and that tie to that region of the United
Right.
States.
Yep.
You know, that's why it worked.
Yep.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
Again, it was the build mechanic for Fallout 4 was built around the theme of the game,
Yep.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
you know?
So,
And-
go on, Vic.
Go ahead.
No, go
No,
on.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna share something with you guys really quickly. Because I posted hey, I'm going to do a new Fallout 4 series, but then I never did anything with it. Okay, but here was the basic plan. First off, Stu was coming back. Right,
Well,
Stu.
I was?
from my Stu from
I
Starlight
see how it is.
Yeah. from my
And-
challenge.
Yeah, from the challenge. And he had been away from the Commonwealth for 10 years.
Oh my
Because
God,
he
that
said, "Oh, look,
challenge.
I set up I set up the Commonwealth. We set up all these settlements and thing was going great." So Stu leaves, right? Because the whole idea of Stu is that he was in Fallout 3. He was in New Vegas. And he'd come to the Commonwealth. That
Yeah.
was Stu. He was the traveling man.
Thanks, Heather.
Yeah. But the idea is that he comes back and everything has gone to shit.
Yep.
All the settlements that he built up are now being run by raiders and super mutants. That is something that I want with the settlement system. Not only do we just go there and there's 2 or 3 things, it's the super mutants. This is their base, and we're taking it over.
Yeah.
I would love to see more things tied to that. So if you're going to theme a settlement location, like a previous super mutant base, okay, then you continually get raided by super mutants there. Maybe not continually, but if that settlement's getting raided, it's getting raided by super mutants because they're trying to get their base back.
Back. Yeah.
How many
Can I
great
elaborate on that just a little bit more?
Ooh,
Why not also put in the mechanic that if they win, they get the base?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to take it back from them.
how many great locations in Fallout 4 are there where you're like, God, I wish I could build a base here. Like, I wish
Well,
I
that's
could
why I
take
made
over
mods.
yeah, take over this pre-built area and just, I forget the name of the location at the university on the southern part of the map. You
Suffolk
go in there,
University.
yeah, you go in there and you're just like, this looks like a settlement, And like the perfect starting of a settlement is like they should have had something there.
Oh, you mean
And
like no, was it Fairlane Hills and what's that one right down from not Grey Garden, but the other one with the big greenhouse?
yeah,
That one. There was like
Yep.
a super mutant base that the super mutants took over the settlement. I always thought that was going to end up being a settlement. The same with Fairlane Hills, and they never
Right.
were.
And the same
Yeah.
with Salem.
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Salem.
Salem would have been a great spot. Yeah, I mean, there's many locations, and to your point, Vic, I mean that sounds like a brilliant idea to be able to take over someplace. You could scrap most of it, right, and then build it the way you want it, if you wanted to. But like, obviously, you'd probably leave some of the stuff there. But that would be the other part. Well, it's one of the problems I always had with the settlements in Fallout 4 was most of them, like, you'd have like a house that you'd have to build around or whatever. There wasn't a lot of other stuff around. Was it County Crossing? Like,
Right.
there's like nothing there except for that old house that you tear down. Other than that, there's jack squat. It's just a big flat space, which is great. Like, you get full, wide open to play with it, but at the same time, it's nice to have to work around stuff or incorporate what's already there into it. I always find that fun, but like, at least be able to scrap all the stuff that's there if you need to. You're not stuck with a house that is a piece of shit that you can't work around.
Oh, you mean like Coastal
Right.
Cottage with the big hole
Coastal
in the
Cottage?
middle of it?
That is my least favorite place to build.
Come on.
without a doubt.
Come on, Gary.
I don't know. I've done
Come on,
a couple
Gary,
of really
play-
good builds up at Coastal Cottage.
Come on.
But I used Draco's mod to do it.
Yeah,
Because he
naughty.
made the hole bigger.
Right.
I had a
able to
lot
build-
of. I can't remember who did. Somebody did a challenge there, and I built a place, and I got a lot of compliments on what I built there, but I did not enjoy the process at all. Like, I was fairly proud of what I did there, especially doing no mods and doing vanilla, but I did not enjoy the process. It was painful and everything else.
Come on, Gary. Who doesn't enjoy pillar glitching a roof for an hour? Come on, seriously.
Thanks. No kidding, right?
Just so he can snap stuff onto it, and then you get all snapped onto it, and you look at it and you go, "Oh no, it's not straight."
It's not straight. Or you can't get the roof the perfect width to cover up all the walls, so you got like 1.5 foot of wall sticking out of your wall. Yeah, it's brilliant. They planned that out perfectly.
Hey, Judah, welcome to the stream. It's just like,
There were a lot of shortcomings because if you look at like 10 Pines, that area could have been so much bigger, but I think the engine was just kind of struggling.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, but then you got
certain
the
areas.
island,
Well-
Spectacle Island, that's like, it's way too big.
Yeah, but because there was nothing else for it to render, so it was hey, cool, you have all this build space.
yeah, but
Right.
let's hands up. Who broke the game? Who broke the game?
Yeah.
Look at all the hands going up. Yep.
What? The only time I broke the game was when I used mods, which is why I went back to playing vanilla.
I broke the game during Gary's build challenge. I literally had to go build that factory over at the farm because I had to walk backwards into Starlight, otherwise it would crash.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now,
There's one mechanic that I would absolutely love to be implemented in the building system, and this is probably a question you were going to ask later on. But there's one thing that's always bothered me is that nothing conforms to the area you build.
yep.
So if you put a car, let's say, on a hill that slopes, the car stays straight.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
I want a tilting mechanism.
Yeah. No, I think that's
To be able
more.
to- Right.
I think that's more than fair, mate. And I think something like a place anywhere that just allows you to change that angle. I think Quappa done that, didn't it? You could change the angle. Or one of the
Yep.
mods did.
Yep.
Yeah, Papa does.
Yeah, they had a tilting mechanism, but it was very.
Oh, it was
very
awful.
technical
It's
to use.
rough, yeah.
There was a whole lot of buttons that you had to press sequentially to get it to just activate. I remember. Yeah, it's just
And still, you had to do it at a certain angle, at a certain spot,
Yeah.
or otherwise the turning axle would fuck it all up.
I think it would put a whole different element into the game, and I think it's already in there, to be honest, because...
Oh, well, yeah, because on PC, Place Anywhere allows you to adjust on all axes.
Yep.
Down to like 0.01. You know, I mean, there's very small increments that you could set that thing down.
Mm-hmm.
And as a mod for PC, I mean, some of the guys when I was still playing on Xbox, I hadn't even built my gaming rig yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching the PC builders and I was like, holy crap. Now, of course, they were using console commands at the time because the mod hadn't even been built yet.
Yep.
But yeah, it's in the game because they were using console commands to do it.
Now, just as a...
was that General Dave? Was
Yes.
that him? Yeah,
who's
I
now
started watching
Ranger
him.
Dave, yeah.
Yeah, I started watching him like clear in the beginning, and I was like, I'm gonna build like him, and then I realized all the stuff he's doing. Like, I'm not building like him. Like, that's too much effort.
And you know, it was quite just as a side note, it was quite a compliment that when 76 came along, they had the break it early section for us, acknowledging just how much we'd broken Fallout 4, or just how much broken Fallout 4 actually was beforehand. But yeah, we took it to another
I
level.
think we broke it within the first hour of playing it.
We did, yeah, we did. 76. Well, yeah, thank you for the brief. There you go. We broke it. So, yeah, there is so many things. It's amazing how the community found all these workarounds. That's the thing that always blows my mind. Like Judah's talking about the bread box.
The bread box.
How do you find that? How do you find that?
Well, it's the same thing with like people bitched about 76, and they took away the pillar glitch, the rug glitch, and all
Yep.
this other stuff.
Yep.
But there are so many more workarounds now.
Yep.
In 76, you need the blowtorch trap where you can put walls into walls. And
Yep.
there's still the rug glitch, but it's more of a blueprint rug glitch type
Yep.
of thing.
Yep. Thank God for mods though, because I got sick of spending hours decorating and then coming back and then everything had fallen off the shelf.
That's why I don't decorate.
And shout out to
Yeah, that's why I heard it.
shout out to Denise. That she had huge amount of dedication to that kind of stuff. But
Oh my
Because
God.
decorations were what was killing me at Starlight.
Yeah.
I watched that woman build on a supermarket and painstakingly place.
Oh, and she made the soda coolers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she went to Far Harbor and got every type of soda there was, and she
Jesus.
put like rows of 6 and 4 deep, and they're perfectly stacked each one, and you're just like, no.
I put 2 things on a shelf, get frustrated, go, yep, good enough.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I just put enough on there to make it look good, you know.
Right,
Look,
and I can
did
think
some
of
stuff.
more than one person that literally went and found every tire, every mannequin, you
Yep.
know, on the entire map and brought them back to a single settlement.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But you know, such as the way the game was that allowed you to do that stuff if you wanted to. And it was, no wonder people were still playing it. And like, I get messages now for people that said, I don't care about the questing. All I want to do is build. It's like, wow. Really? Yeah. All I want to do is build. And I went back and done a vanilla build, or at least finished a vanilla build recently. And I was like, oh, wow. I have a deeper respect for the vanilla builders now than I did probably when I was a vanilla builder and then went to mods, because, wow, you don't have a lot to play with, really.
Yeah, you have to be very creative.
Very much so. More so than us cheaters with the mods.
Yeah, I used to glitch all kinds of stuff together to make it look like something completely different.
Yep.
You know, just to
Welcome, Autumn Gaming.
add some different stuff, you know.
And I think that goes back to my complaint of assets.
Yep.
If it's in there, you should be able to build it. And I'm not talking about like these big ass buildings, but like there's a certain chair or there's a certain decoration
Or
that is
wallpaper.
not available. Right,
Yep.
right. I love the wallpapering system in 76.
I do
I
too.
wish it was back in Fallout 4.
Yes, Sony, are you listening?
Well, I
Okay.
could see it like
don't even
if
have to worry about that no more.
I could see if it's like a unique, like a one-off thing. Okay, you can't build that. But like the video that we're watching, we see the orange cones and
Yep.
The shelves
streets,
and
yeah, all the shelves and stuff. You see those things all over the place. You should be able to build it. Like,
Yep.
Heather, you're out of
I-
control
I'll-
today.
Gnomes, for
I'll
goodness
even point.
sakes.
I was just gonna say no.
right.
No, there
Cannot
aren't.
Gnomes
build
and
freaking
flamingos.
gnomes.
Hang on, there was gnomes in the vanilla. Depending on DLC, he did get I think he got 3 different
Nope.
colors: blue, red, and green.
I never did.
Well, I did.
I know.
Yes.
I've got all the DLCs for that game. Do not have names anywhere.
I'm gonna go back and look.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with her because I spent hours and hours listening to her going, "Where the fuck are the gnomes?"
See, that was
know.
that was the problem with using mods, is you can never remember where the heck the asset is, mate. So that's the other side of the coin. You get all these assets, but you can't find them because they're, the way that the menus were structured. Here, let me get into this. The way that the menus were structured in the building mode needs to change from a
Yes.
vanilla Bethesda point of view.
And still do, even in 76. I have so many assets in 76 because I am that asshole who's like, "Oh, you got something new in the item shop? I'll take it."
Oh, it's shiny. I want it.
Mikey's the Adam Chop whore.
I am. I physically think I kept Bethesda in business with the item shop. But it's like they put it in such shitty categories that it's,
Yep.
where the hell is this? Where the hell is that? And then they mix match it. It's still a horrible
that was
mess.
one of the biggest pain in the asses that I had to deal with when I was playing 76 was I tried to build something. I'm like, it's taking me forever just to figure out where this one thing is that I want. I know I have it. I just got the blueprint for it or whatever, and you're like, I can't find it anywhere. And like half hour later, after fighting off like 2 or 3 attacks from wherever you were at, like, oh, forget it. I'll just go finish my quest and get out of here.
And then he
I will
finds it the
say-
next day. Not
Yeah,
even looking
the
for
one-
it anymore.
Yeah.
The one thing that they did do right, and it's only temporarily though, if you did buy something in the item shop, there is a new section in the build. So you can find it right away. But then once it's not new anymore, you're screwed. You gotta go search for it.
Right, yeah. Then, heaven forbid you can't figure out where it's at after that.
Here, look, in Bethesda's defense, it's a mini game for older people that they put into
What memory?
finding the items. It's like this will keep them off the forums and complaining. We'll put this other mini game in where they're never gonna realize where the asset is. They bought it, but now they've got to go and find it.
Right?
And
I
if
like the fact that
Adam
they have.
Shop,
Go.
go ahead, Mikey.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, I
was
love the fact that they have.
I knew it was going to be rowdy
I'll go
today.
and then I'll let you go. I love the fact that they have it separated: wall decor, floor decor, but then they have miscellaneous structure, which half of it's floor decor, and you don't know that until you find it.
Well, it's
If
miscellaneous.
it's floor
I mean, of
decor,
course
leave it
it's
floor decor. But I mean, all right. Really good example is they
Say
have
floor
this
decor one
wonky
more time
bowl.
because it's kind of get me aroused.
Floor decor. They have this thing called bronking bowl. Okay, it's a bowl that you ride. It's a mechanical bowl.
Yep.
That would be considered as a floor decor, but it's in miscellaneous structure.
Makes no sense. Who's doing this stuff? Sorry, Bethesda. Who the heck is doing your inventory management system? Because it's shit.
Each modder.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Because think about it. That's all the Adam Shop is. They're paid mods.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no
Is it-
different than
Yeah,
than
but
the Creation Club, right?
yeah.
Right. Yeah,
But-
Adam Shop Creation Club, they're all paid mods by modders that were making this shit for free, let me tell you.
Yep. Yeah, but hang on, Vic. That's fine in the Atom Shop, but putting it into the right categories or have subcategories or have something. Christ, it's not that hard. I mean,
At the very least, if you're going to make me pay for it, at least, yeah, tag it right.
Well, I mean, all they have to do is, like, there's certain requirements that Bethesda just puts in. Like, if you're gonna make this mod,
yep.
this is where you have to put the stuff.
Yep.
This is the category. I mean, they can make requirements. It's not that hard. But if
Right.
they're just leaving it wide open for the modder to do it, I mean, you can just get a modder, be like, I'm gonna make the most fantastic thing ever, but I'm gonna make it harder than heck to find for anybody. It's just gonna be hilarious. They're gonna sit there and laugh with their friends every time somebody complains about it.
See, I'm with Gary. I was like, in the end, I would go, you know what? I couldn't be bothered with this. Screw it. I don't need that
Right.
pink gnome in my settlement. I'm over it. I can't find him. I'm done.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think if it wasn't for Nikita, who was watching half my streams while I was building, I wouldn't have found half the shit that I put out on building. That woman knows everything everywhere. I swear to God, she's got it pat.
Oh,
Well,
dear.
I mean, that is one of the reasons why I stopped building in '76. Like, it made it that much more difficult to find what I needed and, all that kind of stuff. Because I'm a completionist, I'm like, oh, I have to go do all this stuff to get these other
Yep.
blueprints and stuff. You bet. That gives me something to play for.
Yep.
But then after a while, you're like, I'm not even interested in doing that because, it's too hard to actually go through and figure out how I'm going to build everything. Plus, like I said, every time you turn around, you're getting harassed by something, when you're trying to build in the one area.
I'm right
'Cause
there
it's a
with
cool
you, Gary.
area,
If
right?
it's a blueprint, I want it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think some of the things that bother me is that if it's a special event blueprint,
Oh,
you're not going to get it again until they do the special event.
right. Then
If they
you
do
can't
that
even bar the
special event
door.
again.
Right, yeah. Then it's, you're busting your butt just to try to get it.
So that's there you go. Slacker says, I knew every magazine location before I ever bought the game. It's that kind of stuff that they put into the game. That kind of go and find all the magazines, go and find all the bobbleheads was fun for me. Complete fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
for
then
sure.
and then they give you something in the building mode to display them. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It gives you a sense of achievement as you accumulate them. You display them and go, okay, well, what am I missing? And off you go. All for that, mate. But yeah, geez. I mean, Workshop Rearranged. A big shout out to the modder for Workshop Rearranged, and I'm a big advocate of that particular mod because they showed what could be done with organising menus in Fallout 4.
Is that Tim Timmerman?
No, I don't think it was. I forget who it was, Mike. But again, that the way that they've organised the menus is completely logical, and you're not scrolling through endless kind of menus to find one piece. They're kind of sub-menus within wood, for instance, with all the roofs in one place, all the walls in one kind of menu, all the floors in another menu, and so on and so forth. So you can get to things quickly. It's just, I don't know. In that whole thing with the menu needs to be completely rejigged and rethought. And like you said,
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
I always-
USO had it haphazardly put
Yeah.
together.
yeah,
Well, I always end up with little areas of like, I find something in the tab, I go put 10 of them in a corner, build 10 of them. That way, if I decide I want them,
yeah,
I can just go grab them because I'll probably never find them again in the tab.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There is.
Just as a quick aside note, I think that Adam Shop, Creation Club, all that, if it's a single player game, it needs to go away.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree personally, but I think from the point of view of the community, Vic, and the point of view of... So there's three groups of people within the community. One that will never use mods ever. And I think there needs to be a healthy modding community in Fallout. I'm an advocate for it. So there's those people that don't want to use mods ever. There's people like that are sitting around the table that with the developers that offer free mods are prepared to take the risk. And then there's the other group that say, I want to use mods, but I want them to be Bethesda approved. So from that point of view, I can sort of understand why they would have it. This pay to play and this whole, I'm completely against that kind of stuff. But if you earn atoms like you do in 76 and it doesn't cost you any money, then okay, I'm okay with it.
Let me rephrase that. You used to.
Aha. Okay. Well, I was never.
Well,
That was one of the things that me and VG used to love doing.
Yep.
Is going around to do things to earn atoms.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you still can, but it's very rare, and it's something like 7,600 hours.
Yep.
In the game, you earn atoms. No, I liked it the way it was before.
Yep.
Where you could, go kill 100 Scorch, you earned 100 atoms.
Adams, right?
Well, and it was, it wasn't like 100 atoms you could buy anything you wanted either, right? Like
No.
you had to do a lot of stuff to get anything that was really good quality or
Right.
decent, right? Like you're not gonna go get a wallpaper set off 100 atoms. You're gonna have to do all these other things, all this other grinding to be able to get that.
Yep.
But that type
Right.
of grinding kept it interesting.
But the one
but,
thing,
but you're talking about a multiplayer game versus a single player
right?
title.
That's
Yep,
exactly what I'm
absolutely.
saying. You can't add that into a single player game.
Yep.
Like that just would not work.
Yep.
Now, me personally, I liked the Creation Club as a vanilla player.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it because one of the reasons why I switched back to being a vanilla player and I deleted all my mods is because after Far Harbor came out, my mods broke everything.
Yep.
And I couldn't walk into any of my settlements that I used any mods in.
Yep.
And like the amount of time it took me to completely dismantle every settlement I had and then have to rebuild it up was just, I mean, you're talking like 100 hours just messing around with that just to try to get back to a stable game. And I just got rid of all my mods and I never put in any other mods because me personally, I didn't feel like having to do all the work that everybody had to do. Well, if you have this mod, then you can't have that mod, and trying to figure it out. Nope, I don't want to deal with it.
Yep.
I'm perfectly happy doing, vanilla. And my opinion is to each their own, right?
Yep.
But
Sure.
so, like, I love watching all you guys build with mods. I think it's great. I still enjoy watching other people that build in vanilla too, just to see like what can you build in vanilla and how cool is it.
Yep.
But at the same time, like there's some stuff in the Creation Club I'm like, it'd be really nice to have. Now my biggest problem in the Creation Club was everything you got was like brand new stuff.
Yep.
I wanted more kind of,
Junky.
wastelandy
Weathered
stuff.
Yep.
Exactly.
Shabby
I wanted
feet.
more of that. Yeah, right. And you just didn't have it, and so that was always kind of a disappointing thing, So I think there's a place for stuff like that as long as it's not overblown, and like it shouldn't be like ridiculously expensive either. I mean, like for like $5 you could buy most of the decent stuff anyway. Every time it come out or whatever. But it's got a place. But to your guys' point, it shouldn't be like the main aspect of how you're going to get stuff. I like the doing quests to get things. You started early on G4 with you do this faction, you do all their stuff, and you get all their different blueprints,
assets,
on the stuff that you can build. Doing those types of things, making that not only do you get XP for doing a quest, but certain quests will give you the rewards of maybe new outfits, like if all it is just an outfit or a new paint scheme to put on your weapons. When I was finally able to put like Minutemen paint scheme on all my stuff, I was like, yes, thank you. All that, getting new build assets, yes, give me more of that. Add that to your rewards. Obviously we like our like cool weapons and all that kind of stuff as good rewards, but other rewards can be great assets as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome to Easy E.
Absolutely.
How are you, Easy? We were talking about you earlier, and you probably don't want to go back to the start of this video because you'll probably go grey and have a heart attack if you hear what.
Easy, just Don't watch my channel for like another couple months or anything. You'll be fine. Like, well, especially if I put out any YouTube shorts, avoid
Yeah,
those. I'll
don't
tell
watch
you
the
that.
shorts.
Especially specific to Marcy. Hint, hint.
I would much rather because think about it. How mmany DLCs did we get for Fallout 4
Yep.
that were almost exclusively around building mechanics?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Right, half of the DLCs were.
Yep.
I mean, and Far Harbor, which was probably the best DLC that I've ever played for a game.
Agreed.
Far Harbor was really good.
Introduced new mechanics. It was a great area. Had a great story. It even brought us more building stuff.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I
Okay,
love
So
that.
I'm not opposed to paying for building mechanic stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
But you know what? Wrap a story around it. Make it
Less
make me
obvious.
quest for it,
Agreed.
right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And like
Don't
some of the
just hand
Creation
it to
Club
me.
stuff was a quest, but the quest was ungodly stupid. You
Right.
you follow a couple points, you show up at this house, and you're like, oh look, now I have like a personal house that I can decorate or whatever, and I got some new decorations that I can use. Like I need more than that, you know.
Yep. And I think, look, I need to be clear as far as my feelings on 76 are concerned. I think Bethesda, now they may not have viewed it this way, but the way it feels is, as a player of the game for a long time and a consumer, is Bethesda went, oh look, we created this thing in Fallout 4 that we just didn't realize we were going to do with the building and how popular people love the building. Let's make some money out of it in 76. That's how it felt to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
They that's exactly what they did, I feel like.
and
Well,
I'm
they're trying to use the Atom Shop to fund Wastelanders that's what it was called, Wastelanders, but to fund the DLCs that were supposed to be coming. We've gotten very few of them.
well,
They've made more money off that game than they've given us back.
Todd did not lie to you when he said there will be mods in the game. What he didn't tell you is you have to pay for them.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to be
Everything
fair,
about. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, to be fair, like at some point, like they have to be able to pay to keep the servers up and all that kind of stuff. There has to be
Yep.
a way to do that
Yep.
because of the fact that like you buy the game once and you're done. You know, they need to have that continued income coming in just to be able to continue developing and keep the servers open.
Sure.
Now, having your own server should help that process as well.
Yep.
But yeah,
Look,
Everything about 76 was to get bought by Microsoft.
oh,
That's all you need to understand about why
Yeah.
they're doing anything in 76. It was to get bought. And now they're just trying to milk it for all that they can.
So-
Because Todd came out and flat out said, okay, next Fallout, single player. Next
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls, single player. Starfield, single player. Okay,
Right.
so 76 is their money chance. And because I don't think that they like doing 76.
no worries, Heather. I'll catch you later.
No.
I
Um,
can see that.
Okay, look, from my point of view, all I'm asking for Bethesda is a balance. We got it in 4. You have the choice of not using mods. You have this whole modding community, amazing modding community that offered you mods for free. And then you had Creation Club.
Yeah.
And you have that choice.
Exactly. And I think mods definitely should be available because that's what keeps the game going for a while,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
you know. And if you make the mistake of not having mods being available and make it all pay, then the game is not going to have a long life to it. Nothing like Fallout 4.
Well, what's the comparison here is Skyrim. If you're talking about the longevity of a game and how the modding community has given you a whole lot of options of what you can do with it. Some extremely immersive, others completely stupid, and then everything in between. But what does it matter? It just makes the game fun.
Right.
There are people out there that only ever play Skyrim. I had a lot of them come through my streams when I was streaming Skyrim, And I'm like, how do you not get bored with it? Well, we play on PC and we have all these mods that keep the game fresh.
Yep.
Because they will do entire run-throughs where they are not the chosen one. They are not the Dragonborn.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
You know?
yeah, I mean,
But you know something I'm really looking forward to? When they're done with 76 and I can finally have it as a single-player title.
yep,
Because I love the map.
yep.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
Look, I think if you look at 76, and I said it last episode, pay attention to 76 very closely because there's lots of elements in 76 that I actually absolutely love and were a step up from 4. There's no doubt in my mind on a whole aspects of the gameplay and lots of little tweaks that they done to many things. Too many to mention
Oh,
here,
yeah, I
but
agree.
so they're going to put it in 5, a lot of those things. But so I'm not down on 76 in any other way. I mean, we played hundreds of hours in it. I just think this pay to play. I just struggle with pay to play. I really do, because we're paying enough money for games now, and I don't see that expansions or DLCs seem to be a thing of the past, where you're paying up front and then there's now a pay-to-play element in the games, and I don't like where it's going. I really do not like that aspect of the gaming industry at all, where this is all going. I'd rather pay for a DLC and have it, something like Fire Harbor.
Yep.
You want pay to play? Fine. Then give me the game for free.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like an MMO. I think of like Neverwinter is free to play.
Yep.
So you know what? I have a buddy that he still plays. Dude's been playing for like 10 years now.
Yep.
And he spends $120 a year on the game to buy stuff for himself. So that he has the tokens that he can buy the newest pack or whatever.
Yep.
Because he figures he'd buy at least 2 AAA titles that are $60 a piece every year. But that's all he plays is Neverwinter. Okay? Whereas ESO, you have to pay to play that MMO.
Yep. Which I've never played.
Which I played on a free weekend, and I was like, yeah, okay, that was what it was. I would much rather play Neverwinter, even though I've put like $10 into that game in all the years that I've ever played it. Because there is a way, it's way more grindy, to get the coins that you need to buy the special packs. You can grind through it. There's no grind when you're paying retail price for a game.
Easy E says, in Fallout 4, you pay with your sanity.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, okay, Beezer, yeah, why not replace all the dragons with Thomas the Train?
Yeah, that's a mod.
No, I've seen that one, yeah. Okay, so where do you think the improvements need to come in? And I'm going to say, base it around Fallout 4 building mode. Where are the improvements? We've already kind of talked about, Mike was talking about a tilt mechanism. Where's the improvement that we talked about, the menus? Where are the other improvements?
I think it needs to be more balanced. If it's going to be a settlement system like in Fallout 4, just make it more balanced so you're not constantly being sent out to these settlements. I think it was
too much,
overdone. It was too much.
If they're gonna have something like that, to me personally, I feel like let's say exact same scenario where you have all these settlements and Minutemen type situation, right? If you're the general of the Minutemen, then add a mechanic where you can put together like quick reactionary squads that like, oh, this settlement needs your help. Well, I'm the freaking general. I'm not helping shit.
Yeah.
Somebody else can go
assign
do
an
that,
asset, yeah.
You have an asset that goes and deals with that. You can say, put together 4 squads. Maybe you start with 1 and you have to work up to getting 3 or 4, right? And then you can deploy them out and say, deploy squad 2 because they're good at, hostage recovery or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or
Right.
you know what I mean. This squad's best at defending a settlement, you know, and set them up and allow you to do that. So you like the only thing you have to do is say, oh, okay, well, what kind of problem are they having? All right, let me deploy this squad to react to it. You
Yeah,
know,
see,
and
that was a big
add that
mistake
kind
in
of thing to it.
Bethesda's
Right.
Yeah, you
part.
were a
Why
general
make
with
you
no
the
army.
general, but
Right.
somebody's ordering you around?
Exactly. Or like maybe if there's a checkpoint nearby, they react.
Yep.
Right. Like
Mhm.
deploy that
Or
checkpoint.
like sometimes I would walk by a checkpoint in 4, and all of a sudden it would come under attack. Make it like that. Your settlements don't get attacked, but if you're in the area, then there's a random chance that they will.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
send me to Far Harbor and then tell me that Sanctuary is under attack, because I don't care.
You know how
Exactly.
hard
They
that
can.
was
They got
when
enough
you're.
turrets. They can defend themselves. Dang it!
Yeah. How much of a pain that in the butt that is when you're in survival mode.
Yep.
And you're like,
It
oh,
is.
you're
Yes,
clear on
it
the other
is.
side of the map, and you have to run all the way back so you can get on the boat, and
Yeah.
then go by, and then run all the way. Like, are you
Not
kidding me?
doing it.
Not happening.
Oh yeah, I just pretty much wiped it. I was like, well, I'm not reacting.
Yeah, fair enough too. Hello, I've just lost the audio.
I
it's
think
okay. We're good.
that it's hard to say what the building will be like in 10 years.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're looking at here, folks. It's going to be
yeah.
at least 10 years before the next Fallout comes. Unless Bethesda got some wild hair where Microsoft said, no, we want a Fallout sooner.
Right.
You know, I doubt very seriously, because Todd has been emphatic that he does not want to hand his IP to another team ever again.
Right.
Yeah, but they can get it done in 3 and 4 years, mate. So.
Well, that's what I'm hoping, is that as 76 dies down, that like the BGS Austin team, granted it's only 35 people, but those 35 people are maintaining 76 right now.
Yeah, but
I doubt very many of them are doing anything for Starfield. Their focus, that entire studio, is focused on keeping 76 going, making content for it, bug fixes, all that good stuff. But when they made Fallout 3, they had 100 people in their staff.
Yep.
Now, between all their studios, they're over 400 people.
Yep.
They're still not a huge studio. I mean, if you think about it, Ubisoft is like 15,000. Okay, Bethesda's 400 now. But I would think that maybe have a dedicated team that right now, most everyone's working on Starfield, right? Because it's the end game right now. Okay, but even right now, with as much crunch, I don't know if they're actually going through crunch at this point, but right now you should still have a quarter of your team or something, a significant amount of people that are already working on Elder Scrolls. That your scout team is laying the groundwork now.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of people playing 76 compared to something like 4, and they're not maintaining 4 that much. So I guess with the pit, that's going to increase. But you know, they're already farming 76 out to other studios. So I think Starfield is their big kind of focus right now.
Have they done any of
I
this
honestly
before
think
in the
the
last
pit's
couple
going
of
to be a
years?
novelty item.
No.
No, the only updates that they've done for 4 are Creation Club.
Oh, they're still doing Creation Club for that.
Well, the last I heard, anyway.
Yeah, I've never.
I don't know. I never look in Creation Club on 4.
I did do a video a number of years ago, and I haven't changed my view. I think I've been in Creation Club once.
I think it was like 2 years ago or something. About the time I started my Falcon, I went in there and was just kind of looking around, and I don't think there was. I bought something because I had the whatever the money was that you needed for that, and I bought something, but there wasn't a lot that I like thought was new or whatever. I was like, oh, I vaguely remember this, maybe not. I don't know. I'll get it anyway, type of thing. So yeah, I didn't think that there would have been a whole lot that had been updated. And I hadn't played for a couple years, you know, so
Yeah.
I was like, they haven't done a lot anyway.
So you think it's going to be sooner? True. That's a True thinks that that the team that has taken since 2016 to make Starfield,
Yeah.
that isn't coming out for another 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's actual
Yeah.
development time, not
Right.
just planning time.
Mhm.
They've been planning it for like 10, 12 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So actually working on the game since 2016, you think that they're gonna put out Fallout 5 sooner than 10 years?
Yes, I do. I actually do, because going back to what Todd says, everything's always overlapping at Bethesda. Always.
Well, for sure. They probably had their scout team working on Starfield in 2015. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Maybe even 2014. While the bulk of the team was working on Fallout 4, they had their small team working on Starfield.
Yep.
That's even worse.
Yep.
Because it takes them a long time to make these games, which is why I would like to see them devote more people to the scout team, that early team. So instead of having 10 or 15 or 20 people working on the next Elder Scrolls style, have 50 or 75 people working on it, so that you can get up and start ramping up faster. As soon as Starfield hits retail, you now have the team that does the bug fixing,
Yep.
while everyone else moves on to the next thing, right?
Yep.
In 2018, when they showed that trailer for the next Elder Scrolls, obviously they already have a concept,
Yep.
they already have the location,
Yep.
and they had enough put together to make a dang trailer.
Yeah, but what was the trailer? Flying over some
Not
mountains. You
True.
know?
But still, that's
That's supposed to be the
game
next
world
game, though, too,
design.
right?
Yeah, Elder Scrolls 6 will be the next game after Starfield.
Yes.
But they were talking about in 2018. I watched an interview with Todd. I didn't realize it was a clone Beezer. In 2018, that we're already in pre-production with Elder Scrolls 6. 2018. So why is it?
Yes.
So again with Fallout 4, they were already working on that in 2011. It comes out in 2015. So it's possible, but again, this group here.
Don't get me wrong. I want Fallout 5 soon.
Yep.
Okay? I don't want to be 60 when I'm playing Fallout 5,
Me neither.
but that's looking like it's the reality.
But this group here then and the wider community say, okay, we want it, but then when they bring it out and it's a buggy mess, they're like, well, why didn't you do the right? So I don't know. There's an argument for taking your time with it, but anyway, I don't know what the answer is.
I totally agree that Microsoft has a huge say in it, where Todd kind of had his own run.
Yep.
Because he was the director of the studio. He could do whatever he wanted. Now there's someone, granted, Todd wasn't the president of ZeniMax.
No.
Okay, he had people that he had to answer to before Microsoft bought them out.
Absolutely.
But what I think Microsoft is going to bring to this party is that they are going to require that the game be less buggy before it hits retail.
Well, I also think, mate,
That's what I'm hoping anyway.
you're talking about the amount of people that Bethesda personally have. Well, those resources are significantly larger now that they're part of Microsoft. So the potential that the IP stays with Bethesda, but other studios help in any way they can and with their expertise is not out of the question, I don't think.
Sure. I mean, look at id Software jumping in and helping with 76.
Yeah.
Now,
But
granted,
isn't it
they're
part
both
of Bethesda.
no,
a
not a
way.
BGS.
ZeniMax.
Right, they were both under ZeniMax, but they're separate studios.
True, but still,
You know-
within the family.
Right. But again, they were trying to get bought by Microsoft. So they were like, okay, ZeniMax is like, you have 5 studios, I don't care, 10 studios, I don't care. Everyone jumps on this project if you think you can help.
Yep. Yep.
Could you imagine trying to take one game engine and forcing it into another one And the other one that you're forcing it into is the old Gamebryo now creation engine. I mean, you're trying to shove Doom into Fallout.
I know. Yeah.
That's crazy. But no, I mean, we all want the game sooner. No one wants to wait 5 years for a title.
Absolutely not. And we've.
But looking at their track record, it's what we have.
But honestly, we've waited longer than that because my point of view is that the single player traditional Fallout was the last one was 4. I regard 76 as a different beast, if you
because it
like.
was.
Completely different beast. It's like
Yeah,
Elder
but
Scrolls
in that-
Online versus Skyrim. It's two different beasts.
Elder
that's
Scrolls
actually two
Online
different
isn't
companies.
a Bethesda game. It's a ZeniMax game.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
And if you think about it, we've actually had 2 Fallouts since Fallout 3, where we've only had 1 Elder Scrolls
Yep.
since Oblivion.
Yep.
Well, it's been 11 years since we've had
Yes.
an Elder Scrolls game.
Exactly.
Wow.
Now,
Maybe-
granted, if
Maybe
we
I'll
weren't
play
getting
Skyrim
Starfield-
before the next one comes out.
Maybe. But if they weren't doing a new IP with Starfield, we would be getting the next Elder Scrolls game.
There
that
you-
would be what's coming out in the next 6 months.
There,
you know?
there you go.
Yeah, but they knew they were doing that.
There you go,
They
Vic.
knew they
There's
were
the
doing
official
Starfield.
announcement for True Flat. I think 5 will be in the summer of 2027. There you go.
All right, write that down.
Is that Todd?
Well-
Is that Todd approved, Matt?
How quickly do they come out with what's that game that is huge on Xbox? Shit. With the Space
Halo,
Marines.
Gears of War.
Halo. How often
Yeah,
do they come out with a
Halo's in
Halo
trouble.
game?
Yeah, but the new Halo game's in trouble, so.
Right.
It's-
And well, 343 Industries. Let me put it this way: the lead game designer at 343, she's been there like 15
just
plus
left.
years.
Yep.
She just left.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I guess my point though is that if Microsoft says I want this game, a new version of this game out every 3 years, and if they're now the boss,
Yeah.
then they'll Todd might say, "All right, well, okay, but you're gonna have to give us more people to help with that, right? Like
Sure. And
you can only do so
it-
much."
and nothing I've seen, nothing I don't want to say nothing I've seen from Microsoft would lead me to believe that they would be like, no. Microsoft would be like, shit, you want to go on a hiring spree? You want us to buy you some more studios and just put them under your umbrella? Shit, let's do it.
Right? Yeah.
Because they spent how many billions of dollars to buy these IPs? They want.
They need
Microsoft
return
wants the
on their
next
investment.
Fallout. Right.
Yep.
Microsoft wants the next Fallout as soon as we do.
Yep.
Right. Without a doubt.
2027 is just too soon. We want to start-
No, it's not.
I keep saying 27. No, but it is because Starfield's not coming out until 2023, early 2023. That means that Elder Scrolls 6 has to happen within 2 years.
Todd's
Yeah,
talk.
not
Todd,
happening.
Todd's
I
talking
don't
about
see
it.
Star or the
Todd,
next Elder Scrolls till 2025 or 2026.
Todd, damn you! You started this series. You're talking. You got us on the hype train. He's talking about it, which means things are happening.
Brother, I hope I am wrong. I hope I am wrong.
I'm with you, Vic. I think that, have they announced when Starfield's coming out? Is it next fall?
No, when it aired, they said everything was coming out within the next 12 months, and that was back in June.
Right.
Gary,
And I think it's coming out in March
Gary,
of next year.
Yeah.
That vampire game I think is going to come out right before it.
Yeah.
So whenever that comes out, then I would look for, was it Redfall? The vampire
Right.
game
Yeah,
Redfall?
But honestly, Redfall.
never mind Redfall. I don't want Redfall. I want another Fallout. Anyway,
That's my point. They released Redfall in February, knowing that the crossover between gamers is not that huge between Redfall and Starfield.
yeah.
Right.
Right. So I wouldn't necessarily be as worried about, oh my God, we need to give this game enough room to breathe on the market before this game comes out, because there are two different genres of games. They're going to appeal to different players. Of course, you're going to have some overlap because some gamers are just gamers and it doesn't matter what genre it is. They're just going to eat it up. But for the most part, I don't think your average Redfall player is a Starfield player.
So Gary, I was going to say, in your workshop, have you got a piece of string?
Yeah.
Can you measure how long it is? Because that's when Starfield's coming out. No idea at this point.
Exactly.
And it's been the same since that launch at E3 4 years ago, however long it was.
Yeah, but my thought is, at earliest, you're going to see the next Elder Scrolls at minimum 3 years after Starfield comes out.
No.
Minimum. It's going to take at least 3 years. And then it's going to take at least probably 4, because they've just barely even thought about making the next Fallout 5. At least a little minimum of 4 after that for the next Fallout.
Yeah,
that's if Microsoft doesn't push them to make Starfield 2.
Exactly.
Because like Slacker brought up a great point. If the series is a breakout hit, then Microsoft is going to be, whoa, we want a sequel.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think Todd just has to work 24/7. It's that simple. He can't go home.
Hey, at least he doesn't have to pack his CD containers anymore by hand.
This is true.
Let me tell you, the most disappointing thing ever is buying a physical copy of Fallout 4, coming home, putting it into my computer, and having it tell me to download and install.
Because all it was the DRM.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, the game.
Right, and I'm like, I could have done this on freaking Amazon. I wanted the hard copy for a reason. I'm like, that's so stupid.
What's a disc, Gary?
Well, for you young kids, let me tell you, before there's discs, there were floppy disks.
Floppy disks. What size were they? The big ones or the little ones?
And they were hard.
True, not sorry.
And then they had real floppy.
Hey, this is a family channel. We're not talking about floppy anything.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna change the direction now. Factions. What factions should be in the next Fallout?
Where's it set? Oh, there's my spanner to you.
Yeah, location matters on that.
Yeah.
And
Yep, absolutely.
Because people are talking about the Minutemen in Fallout 5, but the Minutemen only make sense in the Northeast.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I completely agree. I think that it should be no farther west than Chicago. Maybe in St. Louis, but no farther west.
Oh, we're not getting back on that train again. We had a whole debate where it should be last week. Just answer the goddamn question.
You know how bad I was screaming at my computer? I'm like,
in a perfect
location
world.
matters.
In a perfect world, what factions would you like to see?
Well, I mean, Brotherhood is still has to be.
It's going to be there.
It has to be.
Why?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants the power armor, if nothing else.
The buggers keep shooting at me because I sided with the railroad, so I don't know.
Well, if we don't do Brotherhood, we could do Enclave.
Do you think?
Do Enclave.
Has Enclave been done to death?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know how they're going to tie that in, though, because technically with Fallout 3, that was the end of the Enclave. 76 is different because it's 25 years after.
Again,
so
nobody says it has to be. It could be somewhere in the middle of the timeline.
Doesn't matter.
Hey, this is Bethesda. They're going to retcon whatever we say.
Yeah, that's true.
They'll come up with a story.
So the president had a backup. The president made a backup of himself so that when they killed him in Fallout 3, he wasn't really dead.
Yeah, I mean, it could take place before Fallout 3, right? Like, easily, and just be in a different location.
Well, and that's what we talked about
a different story style, or storyline. there's plenty of ways that you can still bring in these different factions and the different locations. I think it'd be kind of cool to tell the story of the Brotherhood of Steel going, in Chicago. That would, at least part of
I do
that
too.
story, I think would be pretty cool.
And
What-
that would tie in the original games into the newer games.
Right? Yeah, and you don't have to retcon anything more
Nope.
to do it.
Here's
No.
one. Here's
You will, to Vic's point, but you don't have
Right.
to.
Right.
Here's one that I've been thinking about for a wee while, and I'd like to see some kind of story expansion, and that is the Atoms cuts. I'd like
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Atom Cat.
a whole storyline around that.
That was one of the cool things. One of the cool Creation Club things was when you could get the Atom Cats jackets and stuff like that. That was kind of a cool Creation Club thing.
Yep.
I rather enjoyed that.
And
And it had a little bit of a quest to it too, so it was nice.
yeah, so I'd like to see that kind of expanded and explored, and I like to see things like that have been in the game, but really we've sort of touched on them, but we just moved on from them. Those kind of could be interesting to kind of implement. What about you?
I would love to see factions that are based around the region that they're in, of course.
Exactly.
Like the NCR being in New Vegas.
Right.
Like we know the Legion was started up in Denver. Okay, so Vegas and Nevada, not too far. I mean, again, it depends on where we're going to be at. But
Yep.
let's say we're in the southeast.
Yep.
Okay, then let's have a voodoo type Cajun
Yep.
faction
Yeah.
And yep.
Right.
that are tied into. There's something mystical going on with them, because we've touched on mystical stuff throughout all the games. If you look at the Dunwich Wars and all that stuff,
Oh, yeah. Man.
so I mean, there's a chance for a lot of regional factions that you could pull in from where it's based in the U.S.
The other
Right.
thing.
I mean,
Go on, Connor.
I was just gonna say, you let's say you have 4 factions. Maybe you have 2 that are like the old, one of the old standards, one of the ones that everybody knows,
Yep.
and then you have 2 new ones or something
Yep.
to, just like Vic said, location specific that that makes sense, obviously.
Yep.
And I think that's the way to do it, because you want to have the familiarity.
Yep.
But
Right.
you don't want it to be exactly the same. Everybody wants something new. So
Right.
you have the familiarity because everybody wants that, but you still get something new. That's the way that they need to do the factions.
What are you thinking, Mikey?
Honestly, I think it would be kind of cool if the cons somehow made it to the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be kind of cool to have them come back.
Or
Mike?
if we look at the Brotherhood in New Vegas, right? They were there. They weren't huge,
No, they won't.
Nope.
but we had one as a companion.
Yep.
So we still get the flavor of them being in the area without being one of the big factions. So
Yep.
sure, let's have the Brotherhood, but they're not a dominant faction this time around.
Yeah, you can just get some of their lore and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Now, see, I would like that. I don't want the Brotherhood to still like it was in Fallout 4.
No.
I
Oh God,
didn't-
no, because I didn't like them.
No, I didn't either.
Right.
But it was too much. And even in Fallout 3, really, they didn't come in until later in the game.
It's true.
Yeah, you saw the outcasts, but there really wasn't anything you could do with them.
What are you thinking, Mikey? You got any thoughts on factions that you've enjoyed in games before that you'd like to see come back?
Oh, I mean, I've always been partial to the Minutemen. I love the Minutemen. I love what they stand for.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, they don't belong anywhere but Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to see a faction come out like them, but totally new.
Mm-hmm.
And I could go with, the mentioning of the Brotherhood of Steel, or them having a place but not dominant, or even the Enclave.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'd like to see them come up with a new Raider faction, or a settler faction, something like the Minutemen. Totally new, and like Gary said, unique to that area.
Like you could have a faction that's mainly like Latino or Cuban.
Yep.
Like if we were down in Florida or something like that.
Right.
You
yeah.
could absolutely have like I don't know. I keep going to like Cyberpunk with the Valentinos.
Yep.
But
that would
Here's
be
the
a cool
problem.
regional faction. What's that?
I agree with you. But here's the problem: me and you and most of the people on the panel think like normal people. You'll have the special snowflakes out there that'll be like, "That's racist."
Screw 'em.
You can't gentrify. I agree with you 100%. Fuck you if you can't take a joke, but you're gonna get people that are gonna get butthurt saying, "Oh, why are the Latinos evil? Oh, why is that whole tribe African, or
Yeah,
African American, or black?"
It's a fair point, I think, Mike. It's a very fair point.
Who says they have to be evil?
Yep.
Right? It's all on
Yeah.
how
That
the
is
player
true.
wants to play it.
Yep, exactly.
Right.
So,
Right? You don't need to make any faction inherently evil. But if you don't want to play with them, then you are against them. That
Right.
would be a very interesting mechanic for the game.
it's interesting you should say that, Jet, because one of the things that I've kind of wondered, and I was thinking about factions, and I've been playing, like I said to you guys, I've been playing New Vegas lately, I've been playing 3 and whatnot. And, we talked about the Atom Cats a little bit, but there have been these, if you want to call them factions or groups in the game that are fit around the kind of Fallout theme of the 50s. You've had the Tunnel Snakes, you've had the Kings. That would be kind of interesting, maybe with the Atom Cats to mix in and have that kind of greaser type, bikey type group in the game. I don't know. It's just a thought, but
Well, that's also, will Fallout keep that retro
yeah.
Yes.
theme going?
Yeah.
It's
They need to.
Yes.
Although every Fallout will keep the retro theme, just like every Fallout will be in the U.S.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree with that. Unfortunately, is it?
Because
Yeah, I know.
The,
You wanted
the
Fallout
lore
Aussie
starts
land.
with a divergence, so the Fallout
The-
world is stuck in that 50s vibe.
The only thing that maybe you could say Canada or Mexico, because correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably am, but didn't Canada, like, weren't they like annexed by the U.S.?
Yep.
So maybe you
Yeah.
could get up into Canada or something. That might be an option, but I think Vic or somebody mentioned last week where what's the point of bombing up there? I mean, you'd have to come up with this location got bombed or something for
Yep.
some reason, some strategic reason or something. Oil.
Yep.
Oil's always a good one, which is part of the reason why you'd bomb, say, Texas, right? Like,
Yep.
because of the
Or
oil and
bomb
stuff.
Alaska, yep.
Yeah.
Again, I think
Well, and you can't say we don't have somebody from Mexico because we have Raul.
Mhm.
And if you really
Right.
dig in and talk to him,
Mhm.
he tells you a lot about what went on in Mexico right after the bombs dropped.
Yep.
So here's my next question, and I used that very powerful tool called Google to Google Fallout factions, and holy crap, what the term of faction? There's been a lot. How many kind of main factions should we have in the next game? What's the number? I guess we had 4 in
5.
Fallout 4
I would say 5.
tops. Okay. How would
I
you?
would say 4 to 5
Yep.
major,
Yep.
but have like 3 to 4
smaller.
minor
Yep.
factions as well, like
Yep.
the Kings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Powder gangers, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How would
Tunnel
you?
snakes.
How would you feel about this scenario? So, for instance, I'm going to use the Brotherhood of Steel. And I think this has been done in other Fallouts anyway, but you have the Brotherhood of Steel and you have their main base and they're the main faction. But then you have these groups that are kind of to the left or to the right of the thinking of the Brotherhood of Steel. So they're like breakaway groups of that who might be opposed to the main faction, and so there's a whole dynamic that starts to happen within a main faction with these
Like the
breakaway,
outcasts.
something like that. Yeah.
I think that could be cool depending on how you played it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that'd be cool to have them both be like potentially main factions, right? Like especially when you start adding in the karma stuff. If you get to be too close to the jerks, then then the outcasts or whatever aren't gonna like you, or vice versa, right? Like you have to play until you get to this point where you say, okay, I'm gonna go with these guys, and we're gonna maybe take over the other ones or something. That would be could be a pretty cool way to do it.
It's just something as I went through the list, I was like, geez, that's actually a good idea, where you have these breakaway groups that don't necessarily follow the party line. And
That's awesome. Easy.
a settlement of ghouls in football gear with live on the
Well,
we've already an Unfinic Park in the baseball theme, so that's not the kid.
So that would be kind of cool. A ghoul faction. They've not really done that. They've made ghoul settlements.
I guess they did it in '76 to a degree.
Faction.
So what I love about this game is
Yeah, I guess they did it in '76, sort of. But yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, I'd like to see something a little bit new or a little bit of a twist. As far as kind of then companions for you to play with, does that, if we say 5 factions, for instance, does that limit our companions, or how does that all work?
No, because they don't all have to come from a faction.
Yeah, I guess so.
McCready didn't.
Yeah.
You just hired him.
Yeah, he did. Little lamplight.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not a faction.
I mean,
And it was a different game.
you got Piper and
Kate
Eight. Yeah.
and Sexy Curry. Yeah.
So now here's the next real question that I'm gonna ask is, how many companions should we be able to run with at the same time?
2.
Do we like 2 or maybe more?
2.
I like 2.
2.
More could be more. They could introduce an interesting mechanic where you could like control, like actually specifically control your companions and like direct them to do something specific during in the middle of a fight or something. There's been several games that's done that. That could be an interesting mechanic, but in order to kind of do it, you almost have to have like a VATS where the pauses while you do it, and all that kind of stuff, so you can direct them easily, from a first-person shooter type aspect.
I enjoyed having 2. Yeah. I enjoyed having 2 in New Vegas, but not getting the second one till later. I think that's kind of a good balance. But yeah, and with Vegas, I always favoured Boone. I don't know why, but I did. But as soon as you got him, there was a huge. It just changed the way that the game played straight away.
Yes. It does. But then in New Vegas, it was 1 human companion and 1 either canine or ED.
Right.
And I like that.
In Fallout 4, originally, dog meat was not supposed to count as a companion.
Yep.
So you could have 2 plus dog meat.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
But they ended up changing that.
I also
And
wanted
that's
to
why I
where
brought it up.
I can set the distance that companions are allowed to follow you.
Interesting.
I don't want them pressed against my bum in the next game.
Well, Mikey kind of likes that, no?
Well, that's Mikey, but I don't,
I'm trying to think what game it was that you could talk to your companions and tell them short, medium, or like a longer distance.
I played that one, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember what game it was.
But what are you going to do on those cold nights when you need Kate to give you a cuddle? I mean, anyway.
Well, then she can come closer, but until I want that, stay back 20 feet because I don't want to turn around and find you counting the hairs on the back of my neck. I don't need it.
What do you think, Mikey? Do you like your companions breathing on your neck or what?
No, I especially hate it when they trap me into areas and get me killed.
Yep.
Dog meat's so annoying for getting in the way. I've got to admit.
The one thing I'm
Or,
happy
you know,
that they did was.
My companion.
Go ahead, Mikey.
I was gonna say my companion taking half my bullets in the back of the head because they went too far advanced.
Yep.
The one thing I'm happy though that they made it so dog meat can't like die.
I was going to
Mhm.
ask that
Fallout-
question next.
Fallout 3,
Oh, Jesus.
like I didn't even know he could die. And next thing I know, he's dead, and I'm like, "What the hell happened to my dog?"
Yep.
And then it's like, do I go back to an old save game and try to, protect him?
Yes.
And then it turns out it's like I should, but I couldn't remember how
Fuck.
far I had to go back, and it was just like it took me forever to even realize I had lost him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, and like talk about make you sick as a dog lover. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, my poor dog.
I get dog meat in Fallout 3, and then I make him go wait outside about 101 because I don't want him to die. And I'm not going to waste a perk to get the one where he births puppies after death so I can have a puppy dog meat. No.
So let me get this straight. You get dog meat as a companion, then you send him away so that he doesn't die, and therefore you don't get to use him as a companion.
I don't use companions in Fallout 3.
No wonder he's so skinny in Fallout 3. Jeez.
Hey, I'm
knows he's
stopping the
safe.
feeding, dang it. But I can't make him stay in the house because eventually he's just going to wander off. So,
Okay.
that's the next best thing.
Okay, here is a question then for you guys and an idea. Should you have a companion in survival, and if so, should they be killable?
Yes, they should be killable.
Because that would be
They
kind of
should have a
compromise.
companion. And I agree that they should be killable. That would be an interesting mechanic because in Fallout 4 they're not killable still. But that would definitely add to the survival mechanic.
But
The problem is that like in Fallout 4, you had essential NPCs. They were there as the failsafe. Like the Minutemen as a group was the failsafe to finish the game.
Right.
You could kill everyone in the Institute. You could kill everyone in the Brotherhood of Steel. You could kill everyone in the Railroad. But you always had the Minutemen to fall back on if everything else went to hell.
Yep.
And the problem is that I don't see Bethesda going away from having essential NPCs to move quest lines forward, and one of those NPCs is sure to be a companion.
Yeah.
Right.
It'd be rude not to, really.
now, cover your
You
ear.
don't want it.
Cover your ears easy. At least the fact that you couldn't kill them in Fallout 4 gave you the option of having a viral video, Gary. So,
Right. Very, very true.
but I agree with you, Vic. I think Bethesda will not go away from it. But again, yeah, look at 70.
I mean, yeah,
look at 76,
we'd love
mate.
to see it.
NPCs.
We'd love to see it in survival mode, But to be honest and be frank, I don't see them changing that.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah, look,
want the
they-
companions to be as chatty as they are. I don't want to be criticized for everything I pick up or every safe that I pick. Or
But yeah, you want a karma system though.
Yeah, but
I
you put
don't
that in
need
the
a karma
settings.
system to tell me don't carry junk. Are you going to give me all that junk? Oh, an old world toaster.
In your
Well,
trunk. Yeah.
You know.
She just doesn't want a verbal.
Just shut the hell up.
She doesn't want to hear the verbal abuse.
But hang on. You can't.
But that could honestly be an audio setting too. How often would you like your
Yeah.
companions
Yeah.
to interact?
But hang
I
on.
don't use companions in 76 because you put them in your home. I can't stand listening to them.
But hang on.
Oh, you
you-
can
They
get,
should
you can
never
get
shut
cannons
up.
now?
Yeah,
I didn't know
they
that.
never shut up.
But hang on. The one companion that doesn't say anything in Fallout 3, you sent back to the vault.
He probably doesn't feel
Because I didn't want him to die. I don't use Fox either, and he's my absolute favorite companion to have
Yeah. No.
because I don't want him to die.
It's an important point to make, though, because one of the annoyances that I had in Fallout 4 with companions was this sort of, you'd be in the middle of a firefight and Nick Valentine or Kate or whoever it might be, oh, I think I want to talk to you now. Like, dude, we've been walking the roads for hours and now you want to talk? I mean, seriously?
You got in the middle of a firefight. Yeah.
Or they just walk in front of you, and then they go, "Hey, what's your fire?" You know, they literally, you're in the middle of a clip. You're unloading that whole clip, and they walk in front of you, and then they bitch that you shot them in the back of the head.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why they can't make it so they're killable, because they're too stupid.
Right.
Like, they would have to make smarter companions, which, how much effort do they want to put into that?
So Slacker said he wants artificial intelligence that knows when a companion needs to move from a doorway. It's not a big ask, really, is it? Or move away from the front of your gun when you're firing it at somebody.
Yep.
And VG just says, look, she just needs them to shut up, basically.
Yep.
Right.
There you go.
Quote
We
Luke
got it sorted.
Skywalker, you want the impossible.
But
And I think some of it is from before I never minded it.
Yep.
But then as soon as I started recording and streaming,
Yep.
that's when it changed. Like, I used to listen to the music in Fallout. I have never once turned on the radio in 76.
Yep.
And I love the Fallout music. It's some of my favorite, era genre of music. But because of copyright,
Yep.
my whole attitude on how I play a game is totally different. The first thing I do when I load a game is go straight to options and drop the music to nothing.
Yep.
That's one of the reasons why I stopped streaming when I played Fallout, was I wanted to be able to listen to music so I could just, record my videos and all that and listen to music as I did it.
Oh, Beezer.
Or build music.
Yeah. Oh, Beezer. Who would that be? Someone complaining about the constant drug abuse.
I built a mod that literally turned off every radio in the game.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
And
you
I
had that
use it.
copyright strike.
Oh yeah. And
Again,
then I was like, that's not gonna happen again.
But,
Like radio freedom. I loved radio freedom.
Yep. Again, I guess with modern games they have a streamer mode that you can switch on and off. So
Yep.
yeah, that can be built in. It's strange because you're talking about, I love the radios in Fallout 4. I never listened to them because of that fact that we're all content creators, and one of the first things we all have to do is look at the audio settings and switch the music off, just in case.
Yep.
I find it funny that you're like the modern games, and we're talking about a game that's 6 years old.
Mm.
I mean, granted, it's 6 years old, and in computer game speak, that's a long, pretty old. But like in reality, like six years isn't that bad. I mean, I played Fallout 1. You mentioned I've played that recently and did some videos of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a rather old game, but to say a modern game, they make it so you have the streamer mode. That just kind of made me chuckle a little bit.
Well, Far Cry 6, I got a copyright claim for that. And I was walking through this camp somewhere in the game, and there was a band in the background. And that's what I got. And I pushed back on them and said, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me, guys. I've got streamer mode on, and I'm still getting this? Come on, seriously. And luckily they agreed with me, but it's just like, come on. Yeah.
Well,
It's annoying. But, again.
I stopped using sim settlements because I was going to run that whole series. But the problem is that anyone that builds a module for sim settlements can throw a radio or anything in there.
Yep.
And it is not affected by any audio settings.
Mm-hmm.
It's baked into the main audio chain, not the music audio.
Wow.
And so I was like, nope, I can't do it anymore. Because I can't risk walking through a settlement and not catching the music, right? Because it's just music in the background. And then I go to post that video and, oh crap, now I have to take it down.
Yes, he is, Eric. Yes, he is. He hasn't found me yet, so don't tell him where I am. So, Yeah, no, that is an annoyance. It's a very big annoyance. One of the ideas I came up with in one of my recent videos with the companions was the fact that there could be like this trackability of your companion's storyline. Because that was one of the things that coming back to the game and coming back to a save that I probably used 3 or 4 years ago, I had no idea where I was up to with certain companions and their storylines, and I found that a little bit frustrating. So it was an idea I had. I think they just need to structure the companion storylines a lot better than so we don't have these random encounters in the middle with something that we're doing. So. How many?
Well, even after you finished it, they would still sometimes bug out and still trigger it like you never finished their quest line.
Yeah.
Preston Garvey did that to me all the time. It's like, hey, I think we need to have a talk.
Yeah, but that was a romance. That was a romance talk, man.
And I'm like, come on, man, we had this conversation not long ago, remember?
Should we be able to romance our companions? There's another
birds
question.
and bees. Yes.
I don't know,
That's the
because I
symbol.
kept turning Kate down, but then every once in a while, they, you would do something that would boost their friendship again, and then they're back
It
right
should be,
in.
I'm back in that.
Should we jump in bed? And like, no, I'm in a relationship with somebody else. I don't want to be, in a relationship with all my companions. If I say no, make it a permanent no.
See, they could reintroduce sexy sleepwear if you're allowed to romance your companions.
Well, there you go.
But only if you're playing a dude.
What do you think?
I'm running into that problem right now with Mass Effect 2. It's like I only want to be friends, but every time I pick that option, and then they reach over and they like rub my shoulder. I'm like, no, damn it,
Leave me alone. I have issues. What's your thoughts?
No means no.
What's your thoughts, Mikey, on companions and quests? And is there anything else that you see that could be improved?
I like companions, and I like the idea of companions, but I think if they're going to talk, it's got to be crucial to what's going on.
Absolutely, I think you're right. But they're just trying to get friendly with you and get to know you, Mikey.
I get that, and I do like to find the lore of why they're where they are.
Yeah.
I think that's important, but it's gotta be crucial. Like like they said, like in the middle of a fight, I don't give a fuck where you came from. We're in a fight right now.
Can't you see I'm busy?
That's nice that you've got a drug addiction. Get a gun and fight.
That's nice you got a drug.
Look what Beezer just wrote. Look, maybe it could be you get a restraining order on your companions.
I'd love to hear more banter between companions too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'd love it if they kind of had that a little bit with was it Deacon and what's his name? The Brotherhood of Steel guy.
Paladin Dance.
Didn't they get kind of catty towards each other?
Yeah,
If I
in
remember
camp.
right? Yeah, in
They
camp.
do, yeah.
Or if you were switching off, like every now and then too, like if you'd go up and you like, let's say you had Dance with you and then you switch over to Deacon, they'd like, better look out for that guy. They would say stuff like that every now and then.
See, it'd be kind of interesting because I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks. When I'm finished with my companions, I tend to put them all in one settlement. It'd be kind of interesting if they started to kind of, have a little bit of hanky-panky in the background.
You come in there one day and you see
sorry!
Piper and Preston hanging out in the bed.
Yeah, it's just, says more
They
about
get
me.
all bashful. Like, we weren't doing anything. That's not what you thought.
No worries, Zero. No worries. As far as companions go, and the number of companions, did they get it right in 4? Was it too many? Not enough? What do you think?
I don't don't know. I've used all the companions except for the one from the Institute because I would have gotten him so late in the game that by the time I would have gotten him, it would have been time for me to destroy the Institute. So I think he was ill-placed. So if you're gonna give us a faction companion, make it early enough in the game that you can actually do something with them.
Yeah, because you'd have to pretty much just go into slow mode and not play any more of the game in order to actually use him.
Yeah.
I would like to see a animal companion as well as a human companion.
Yep.
But how many total companions, Mikey?
2.
I mean, no. I'm not.
Total.
As in, like, that you can choose from.
Yep.
I would think one from each faction.
So if there's
So it
5
depends on
factions,
the
only
faction.
5 companions.
Right.
I like the idea of having some companions that are in the factions and some companions that aren't, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Personally, I felt there was just a little bit too many companions in Fallout 4 because of the fact that you had to go and follow their storylines, and the storylines would pop up at random times, and you just didn't know what that timing might be. So if they cleaned that kind of aspect of companions up, where it's a lot more of a structured storyline for each companion, then the number of companions in 4 would have been fine. I just think I kind of lost interest, to be honest, because there was just too much of this stuff to be done. And
it's the structure of the game, because again, I'm going back to Mass Effect 2 because I'm streaming it right now, right?
Yep.
There's like 11 or 12 companions in that game.
Yep.
But at the end of every mission, everyone's back in their place on the ship.
Yep.
Right? So you can go have those conversations to advance their personal story, get their loyalty quest, do all that stuff. Whereas in Fallout, you don't ever get that downtime.
Yep.
Even when you go to the settlement, you're still you and the squad that you're traveling with.
Yep.
Thank you, Giant Troll, and welcome to the stream. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm open to that.
It makes it harder,
Yep, I'm open to that. I think the companions are absolutely a key element of the game, and I love them. I love all the different personalities.
I do too. And I love
think
doing their personal quests.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it'd be cool. Like if, let's say you were at home plate and all your companions were there, and like when you come back, they're just all milling around, say Diamond City, right?
Yep.
You just, obviously Vic goes back to his office, and you find Kate over at the noodle bar, and whatever, right?
Yep.
And that would be kind of cool, like, but they always go to the same spot whenever they're there.
Yep.
I think would be the
if they're
cool
not with you.
aspect of it.
If they're not with you, yeah.
Right, exactly. And so that way, I do like that aspect of being able to manage those conversations with your companions at that time, as opposed to in the middle of a firefight. Hey, can we talk? Like maybe you get a little pop-up that says, "Hey, you've progressed with Preston Garvey far enough that you can have this conversation." Okay, great. I'll have this conversation later, and you're not getting pestered about it.
Yep.
So the conversation about the radios in 76, because it's an online game, the radios had to be designed so if everybody had their music on and it was playing, like the songs were a little bit different or something, you couldn't hear each other's music playing.
Yep.
That's why you can stream with the radios on in 76 on your Pip-Boy and nobody will hear it.
Yep.
So they're basically only for you, nobody else hears them.
So, talking about companions and talking about the new game, is there any companion or stroke NPC, maybe one that has been fired out of canon, that you'd like to see return in Fallout 5 or have some kind of storyline extension?
Dogmeat has to be there. He's been there since Fallout 1. He has to be there.
That's a given.
Even though he's not the same dog meat,
No,
he's still dog meat.
he's got a little bit more weight on him in 4 now, so
Yep.
Yeah.
Show you what this looks like.
But
Crafting goes, so you can
any of them that had cool quest lines, like Kate, for example. Okay, if we choose to help her and get her clean and stuff like that, it would be great to see her continuing that sobriety
and maybe
at some point in the future or something like that.
and maybe
Like,
being
That
makes-
also goes back to what what year is the game set in?
right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's after the time period of Fallout 4, like finding Kate in some city, wherever, and she's actually some sort of counselor helping other people get
Right.
clean, right? That would be
Just
really
a-
cool. That would be a really cool nod to that storyline.
Yep.
Just like Jack in Mass Effect 2 and 3.
Yep.
You know, if you clean her up and I love Jack the same way I love Kate, because their stories are so similar in that regard. Just that the angst that they have. But I mean, it's very satisfying to see Jack in Mass Effect 3.
Yes.
Even though she's not a companion in 3, it's just the string that they've pulled through the games. And to see her working at the academy, teaching other kids that are biotics,
What
is a great run on that. So yeah, anything that we could see like that would be awesome.
What would be kind of interesting is if you went back to somebody like a Kate and she's successful and you decide to spend time with her. If you make certain decisions, it may cause a relapse or it may make her more successful, and having that kind of dynamic in the game could be quite interesting to play around with. I agree with Easy, the Vault-Tec rep. That one is very underdeveloped.
Yes.
As
he
a
was.
as a companion, it could be quite interesting to hear his story.
But I would kind of like to see Fox come back, or even the ghoul from Underworld, Charon. I always say his name wrong. He would be
Right.
kind of cool because they would still be alive.
Yeah.
As long as he hadn't gone feral, they would kind of probably still be alive.
I know a lot.
Somebody like
Absolutely
Valentine,
giant.
right?
Sheffield would be great.
Yep, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
was awesome.
One of the names that came up quite a bit in the kind of comments section when I was talking about NPCs was Pam from the Railroad and where her story was.
Oh, yeah.
Another
That could be interesting.
another suggestion was, could you do a series of flashbacks with the character reminiscing about his previous companions and try and investigate what happened to them or something like that? Could be kind of interesting. That was a suggestion that came up.
The biggest problem that I see with that is that now we're trying to tie gameplays together.
Yep.
Right.
From Fallout 3 and 4 and New Vegas
Yep.
and
Yep.
now
Right.
we have to have a save file or something that would be put into 5, or you'd have to
No,
make those
what-
choices.
What's the thing that BioWare has for Dragon Age? The where you can go and make all your, put all your choices in.
Right,
if
right,
you
right,
can't
right,
carry them
yeah.
over. Something like that would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it. I think Bethesda do an excellent job at coming up with these companions, and so I'm talking about maybe the large. Obviously the large majority would be new, but it would just be kind of nice to have some, maybe a couple, of just extensions from, just so it links 4 to 5. But again, as he said, it just depends on when they're going to set the game, where it's going to be set, all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I think that it would. I wouldn't want to use the same companion in another game.
No.
I would like to run into them and just
Right.
maybe see
Side-
an extension of their story would be kind of interesting.
Yes.
Because then you lose out. If you rehash the same companion, you lose out on a completely different story,
Mhm.
you know, and
Right.
a new story to experience.
Much like in reverse, we had it with McCready, where he wasn't a companion, but we did see him as a kid in Fallout
Right.
3.
Yeah.
But then we get him
Yeah.
as a companion in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing
That
I,
was
I was
awesome.
going to bring him up too was the thing I liked was it's very reminiscent. I can't remember the companion's name, but in Fallout 1, you basically hire the guy to be your companion, and then he sticks around, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh.
that you do that with McCready, right? Like you hire him in
Yep.
the bar, and
Mm-hmm.
then he sticks around. I
Yep.
like the idea of doing that and kind of having that kind of you end up building the relationship and stuff like that. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a fun way of getting a companion is,
Right.
you know, you stumble across them and you're like, oh, hey, I could use a hand.
No, I'm well up. I'm well up for the idea of, okay, just because they're a previous companion doesn't mean that they become a companion in the next game. But yeah, you run into them and it's like almost like a side quest to give you an update. Well, I like that idea. Welcome. Oh, Preston Garvey's back. Oh, we were talking about you
he says
earlier.
that you are his favorite companion.
Oh, I'm blushing now. I must be having a flush. Anyway.
Well, I would kind of actually, if it's set in the future, from Fallout 4, I would kind of actually like to see McCready come back one more time, but as an older man.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Telling you to get off his lawn and that kind of stuff.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool. Like McCready comes back as an older man. I love that idea. And like he's like the mayor of a settlement or a town or something, right?
Yeah.
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 And then you go there and he's like, well, we've kind of run into some problems. In my younger days, I would have taken care of it, but I could really use your help right now.
But then you kind of like see his whole evolution from snot-nosed little mouthy kid to middle-aged to older.
Would it be interesting? Would it be interesting to then have that storyline, and then as your companion, it is a family member, a son, a daughter, or something like that?
Wouldn't they then have to decide what happened to your character, the player character,
I guess
after
so.
the events of that game?
I guess so, but
Yeah,
But then it ruins your headcanon of what your character went off and did.
right, because they never established canon endings
For your player, no.
for your player. Yeah.
hello, Matthew Godwin. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Yeah.
And don't even get me started on Little Lamplight. That whole thing is it's kind of gross if you think about it too much. It really is.
You mentioned the war.
At what age do they kick people out of that town?
Yeah. Yeah.
And why are
Like
there still
16
kids
or
there?
something, right?
Right, it's 16, but there's still kids living there.
Yeah, where do all the kids keep coming from?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell me about that though. Has that lamplight ever been featured as a settlement or anything on any map in a Fallout game?
Fallout 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I
It's
haven't-
where McCready came from.
Okay,
Mayor
'cause-
McCready when he
Yeah.
was a kid.
I obviously haven't played through Fallout 3
Yeah, it
long
was-
enough to find
It
it.
was
So.
it was a community of children living in the caves.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all decorated with like Christmas lights and stuff like that.
Tell
But at
Gary
the
where
age
the.
Yeah.
But at the
You
age
come
of
across them during the
16,
main quest. They get
Yeah.
sent to Big Town.
Eric says,
Which
tell
you can
tell
go to Big
Gary
Town
where
and
the
help
kids
them
come
out.
from.
So what happens at Big Town? They never established, like, do you eventually get kicked out of Big Town
Mm-hmm.
for being too
Right.
big? They kind of dropped the ball there because it's all pretty much teenagers trying to live.
Wow, that doesn't sound good. But anyway,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gary-
you need to
Trouble.
dive in. You need to dive into that because I
Yeah.
mean it's a great little place. The lore is kind of cool. It started with a bunch of elementary school kids on a field trip to that cavern the day the bombs fell,
Yep.
and they just keep kicking the adults out. But the problem is more kids keep generating, and yeah.
That's not. But yeah, but
No
come
one
on.
thinks about that part.
But come on, that's not out of the question with teenagers. I've got to talk to Gary later about where kids come from, according to Eric. But anyway, flamingos drop off the babies. That'd be kind of nice. Instead of stork, the flamingos drop the babies off.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yes.
They come from Narnia or somewhere like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just one thing I find really weird in the way in Fallout. It's like the only baby I can think of, other than Sean, but that's like a story thing, was Marie in the Pit DLC. And yeah, she was a story thing too, but those are like the only 2 babies I can remember.
So
It's like,
yeah,
where are all the people coming from?
I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to be the devil's advocate in that. Bethesda, are you really leading us to believe that people in the wasteland do not have sex? Honestly?
Absolutely stunning.
You
Really,
know?
it's not that often. You think, oh, there's nothing on TV. Let's go to bed.
I don't know. It was pretty popular in Fallout 2. Couldn't you be a porn star in Fallout 2?
Yes, you could. And I was one.
I mean, have we lost the ability to figure that one out since the bombs dropped? I mean, what the heck is going on there? I mean, I'll just go back to COVID when we're all locked down. There's a population increase now.
Well,
so
obviously, yeah, but obviously not, because we're dealing, while in 76, what we're viewing right now, there's no one around. But in Fallout 3, Fallout 4, there are regular humans still there. So obviously people are still figuring it out, because it's been 200 years since the bombs dropped.
Right.
yeah.
They're just not
Well-
reproducing prolifically, is I guess probably the point, right? Like, you'd think that you'd see some family with like 5 or 6 kids running around, and instead they've got like 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of the settlement? Warnick had the kids. It had 2 kids.
Summerfield, Summer Place, Summer.
Oh,
Somerville
down
Place.
by- yeah, Somerville Place.
yeah.
But there's very few kids in Fallout.
Very few
Yeah.
people can figure it out, apparently.
There's only one involved.
Or they're all using protection. I'm not sure which.
I like
Yeah.
to roleplay the fact
There
that's
was a
part
whole
of my
classroom.
settlement building.
Yeah.
What's that, Mikey?
Said I like to roleplay that's my part of rebuilding the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
I gotta procreate with every woman I find.
Okay, I'll fix it up. I'll teach everybody. I'll be the teacher. No problem.
So that would be kind of cool with the settlement thing, if like you'd go back and next thing you know you have there's kids running around, not just all adults.
Actually,
Yeah.
Everybody, it's always like adults, and they all look like they're about ready to die like any second anyway. But yet you're like, hey, I need you to work this scrap thing and go get me some scrap metal or whatever.
actually,
It's like, what the hell?
that's
And there was a mod that fixed that too.
Yeah.
that's
Like
not.
kids. Go ahead.
No, go
Yeah,
on. Go.
sorry. I was gonna say that the mod allowed you, like the recruitment chance. There was a chance that you'd get a kid show up instead of an adult show up.
Mm-hmm.
And you could
Oh,
only
yeah, I
assign
think I
them
know the
certain
mod.
things.
It will give you a warning that you can't
That'd be cool.
That's not such a strange comment. Easy, my baby companion wears a mini new onesie, but can you think about it? You have this, and there was one in, was it New Vegas or Fallout 3, who was the mayor or something? He was the mayor or something, and he was in charge of this cave or something. But imagine having an annoying kind of teenager
all
as
those kids.
a companion.
what you're looking for. You can see that HP bar is nudging.
Imagine having that. Would be kind of annoying but interesting to do.
Having a little 12-year-old following you around
Yeah.
as your companion.
Yeah,
Oh God. Are we there yet?
Wait.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
No,
That's-
because I'm
Didn't they
still
do
pissed
that?
about Sean at the end of the game. So
Well,
Didn't they
Yeah.
do that in 4 for the Brotherhood
Yeah.
of Steel for a while? You had that kid as a companion.
well, he wasn't.
oh
really
no,
a
the kid
companion,
in the
you were
fridge.
Show him the rope.
That annoying kid in the fridge. Who let him out the fridge, by the way?
Okay, so let's talk
Yeah, I
about
did.
Yeah,
Insulting.
I did. Wow.
These are the same people, Gary, that left Sean in the institute. Let me tell you.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Oh, I didn't leave it. No one's left in the institute.
Yeah, no, I killed them all.
They're all dead.
And you can't leave Sean in there because Tinker Tom or whatever whatever faction you go,
Yeah.
takes the kid and puts them somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So whenever you go to that faction, that kid is there, whether you want them or not. I'm like, no. I didn't want that kid. I didn't sign up for that kid. Kill him. He's not
Yeah.
even a real kid. You
Slacker,
know.
there's no way to kill any child in Fallout 4.
No.
can you fire them out of
They-
cannon? So they're far enough
could,
away where
I'm
you can
sure.
run the opposite direction or something? I don't know.
scrap everything fast.
I
Yeah.
park him at a settlement and I never go back there again.
That would be kind of interesting dynamic, wouldn't it? You have this kid as a companion, he annoys the crap out of you. You go, hang on, mate, just wait there for a second. I've just got to go and do something, but they keep finding you.
Yeah.
Scrap it down.
Oh dear.
No, it would be great little things like that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like the kid that maybe he's not a companion, but no matter where you go, if you're there more than like 5 minutes, he shows up.
like you do a nice thing for some kid in, let's say, Diamond City, and then you're like, okay, and then you leave, and then you come in, and every time you go in there, like you said, he just shows up. Hey, mister, how you doing? You're like, oh shit, not this little brat
Right.
again.
But then you go
And
to
then-
Sanctuary and he shows up there.
Right. You're like, what the hell are you doing here?
Kind of like the annoying companion in Oblivion.
Yeah.
The annoying fan.
Judah says, Daddy went to go grab smokes. Said he'd be right back. Been 20 years.
Back in 20 years, yeah.
Wasn't there something similar in Diamond City? Wasn't there a couple of kids that used to say, do you want to do a tour or something? I seem to remember something.
No, Bunker
The
Hill
Vault 81.
and
Bunker, was it Bunker Hill?
Vault 81.
Yeah.
And then who can forget that poor kid in Fallout 3 when you kill the sheriff? He kind of says to you, my daddy's dead, but I've got some gifts for you.
Right?
Oops, sorry about that. I don't know how that happened, but thank you very much.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I think
You know, if you drop the bomb on Megaton, doesn't that kid, like, disappear from the game?
I didn't do it, so I don't know.
I don't know because Moira shows up as a ghoul.
Yeah, but that's because that's so you can continue the Wasteland Survival Guide. But the kid just kind of disappears, so that's like he got killed. And there's another girl. There's a girl there too.
It could be a kind of interesting plot twist in the kind of whole scheme of things that they turn up as a mutation. How do we feel about the mutation system from 76 coming to the next game?
Actually, kind of really love marsupial, so I would not mind it coming back. Because I hate the fact I can't jump more than an inch off the ground in Fallout 4.
Like a mutated
It's-
Marcy or something.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't
Like a
actually,
third leg or something.
when they first mentioned mutations, I was not excited about them. And the game had been out almost a year before I ever started playing around with the mutations and
Oh
really
God, no!
learned to
I
like
was
them.
hanging out in like pools of water, just so that I could get multiple mutations. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
literally. I mean, and if I didn't get the mutation I wanted, because there were certain ones that I wanted, certain ones that I didn't, because you could stack them. It
Yep.
was like, nope, go reset it, and hopefully the antidote for the mutation would only take the one that I didn't want to lose. But there was entire days where Marcus and I would go up to this pool of water that was always radiated with a high level of radiation, and I'd sit there and he'd just laugh his ass off because here I am farming for mutations.
Until you got into the Enclave and found out that you could just buy the recipe.
Oops. How do we feel about the balance of NPCs in the game? And what I'm about to elaborate is, you know, we joke about Marcy, but she was voted the most annoying NPC in Fallout 4. What's the balance got to be as far as NPCs? Do we need more Marcys in the game? That kind of to balance things.
More.
To balance
I wouldn't
things.
say more, but you have to have at least one.
Yep.
Like, you have. I mean, you're never gonna watch a movie and go, that movie was great, and everybody in there you loved, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to have that one jerk to, like, because you want it to feel real. You want it to,
Right.
you know, that's part of that escaping. Like, there's always got to be that one jerk that you have to deal with, and you're just like, oh, I hate this person. But
That's how I feel
Right.
about Joaquin Phoenix.
there you go.
I mean, I hate that guy, but that only is because he's so good at being a dick.
Exactly. Sign of a great actor. Like, they always play a dick, and they do such an amazing job at it, right?
Yeah.
Like, but you need to have that, and you know, but you need to also be able to get away from it too. Like, you wouldn't want Marcy following you around all over the map either. And the fact
No.
that she gets put into that one settlement, and every time you go back there, you're just like, oh my god, shut up.
But
And then next thing you know, you're building a contraption to shoot her out of a cannon. I don't know.
But again, yeah, if there was a karma system and you staffed up, then maybe she does stalk you all over the map. I don't know. It's
That would be the ultimate punishment.
you'd be
Gonna go find that old save. Find that old save to get away from her.
dang.
The biggest problem that I have with Marcy is that she's one of the only important NPCs that has no real arc. And
Right.
that's what I don't like about her. Yeah, okay, fine. Because look at Jin. He has an arc. Her husband. But she's the same spiteful, mean bitch from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of talk to him and he'll still be the depressed guy walking around Sanctuary, but if you just talk to him, he does change a little bit.
But doesn't that mimic real life?
Oh, careful there, Steve. You're on some dangerous ground.
Yeah.
And with that, guys, thanks for watching.
And that's the end of Stu's channel.
But I mean, I think if you give her a balance, I mean, if you're gonna make her a companion, then let her start out being a cranky witch, but by the end of it, you either change her attitude,
Yep.
or you're given the option to send her away.
And that's going to be very dependent on a karma system and a special, what you choose for your special abilities.
Well, to an extent, to get your companion's personal quests, you have to do things to make them like you. That is in Fallout 4. They just didn't carry it around with the rest of the wasteland like it was in Fallout 3. If
Right.
you were a bad person, the regulators were coming after you in Fallout 3, or the Talon Company if you were an evil or a good person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I would kind of like to see that kind of thing come back. I definitely want to see faction armor come back. I think that's just
You
the funnest
just
thing.
come on. You just want flamingo armor. You don't care about
I
faction
do,
armor.
I
You don't
do.
care about faction armor.
I want a faction of flamingos. Dang it, they earned it. The Flamingo Wars of damage.
So that is so in VG's perfect game. There is a flamingo faction. All these guys
you
from South America or something that have been kind of were at the Mardi Gras when the bombs dropped or something. I don't know where that would have what the backstory of that might be, but yeah.
Hey, there's another faction that you could bring in that could be like your settlement. No matter where you set up a settlement, you're gonna have to deal with that faction, and it's the Gunners. Mm-hmm. Because they don't like the fact that you're trying to establish something.
Yep.
Right.
You know,
Now,
so
I wanted
I mean,
more of a backstory for the Gunners.
Even
They're
if
like
it is full of feathers and
there.
pink, so
Yep. I don't care. I don't care if it's a black leather jacket with a flamingo on the back. You know what I mean? I would rock that thing all over the wasteland. Heck yeah. Put on some high heel boots and bring me out a whip. I don't care. Let me
I'm
get.
gonna
okay. That took a turn.
I will make that mod for the next Fallout game.
Whoa, that took a turn. I didn't
Just the
expect.
jacket. Just the jacket.
Oh, dear. I do like.
I'll call it VG's flamingo leather coat.
Yeah, I would wear it.
Really bad name.
I don't know.
I actually
be
do
awesome.
agree with you, though. It is kind of nice to be able to wander into the Legion's camp dressed as a Legionnaire and not get shot at. But anyway, that kind of stuff really adds a stealth element to the game, I think.
Yep.
Oh, I like that idea, Jude.
So do
Faction
I.
of
I was just
gypsies
thinking
or carnies? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, that would be kind of cool too.
You got any weird and wonderful ideas, Mikey, on something that you'd like to see in that realm? Maybe a gnome, a rabid gnome pack or something like that. I don't know.
You know, I'd like to see a couple flamingos with some cigars in their mouth, or a couple gnomes wearing like a raider mask.
But yeah, what about a faction that was like dressed as gnomes?
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious and scary at the same time. Faction of midgets just coming right at you, you wouldn't know what to do.
All hitting you with their fishing poles.
The problem is because Bethesda can't make kids correctly
Yeah.
in the engine,
Yeah.
you wouldn't know if they're midgets or just kids.
Well, they could be. They could be, and then just building on what we're talking about before, why wouldn't there be a faction that's only teenagers or something?
What about getting really, really creepy and making factions that just dress up like clowns?
Clown gang, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
the pint-sized slasher. I was just thinking, what if somebody was like a faction of people that like idolize the pint-sized slasher?
I'd also like to see it just expand on the cult.
I want to go back.
cultist.
I want to go back to the leather coat and the whip. I was much more interested in that. But you know what? We're throwing all these ideas at it. But yeah, just make the game fun, man. There'll be those people
Yeah,
who go, "Oh, that's church noodle, not in the lore of the game." Nah, make it fun. Jeez. And make it fun. Maybe it's something you can
No,
buy
you're
in
not
the Atom shopping more privately or something. I don't know.
There's always got to be those people that you can't satisfy. I'll be happy if the game's just complete.
But actually,
Yeah,
I don't want it to work. I want it full of bugs, but just release it.
I don't want to hear the excuse, it just works. No, it fucking
Yeah.
doesn't.
Because
I
you
like the idea of a potential faction, kind of like the carnies and
Yep, it's nice.
gypsies, where you do missions for them. And I think this was in Fallout 3, where they had the traders they had their loops, and if you did certain things for them, you'd get better prices.
Mm-hmm.
And I like
you-
that idea where you help them specifically, and they're like, "Oh,
Right.
well, we're gonna give you
Yeah,
a
if you
discount."
invested in them, they would sell, or they would have more caps and sell
Right.
better items.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary, do you know how?
Yeah.
They kind of
Canterbury
did with the level 4 vendors
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Right.
in Fallout 4.
Gary, do you know how to kill the circus?
No.
You go for the juggler.
Oh, shit. But
Well, see, I think the circus faction would actually be really good for Florida because the winter base of the Ringling Brothers Circus is down in, was it Jacksonville, Florida? Somewhere
like
around
that.
there.
Could
That would be kind of a cool faction for them.
you imagine? Could you imagine a whole storyline around carnies and a circus where the animals have escaped and mutated? It'd be kind of interesting.
Well, yeah, because we've never seen a mutated elephant. Right? I mean, if you think about through the animals that we've seen in Fallout lore,
Yep.
we have the yogis. Dogs don't seem to mutate, except into
Well,
like
Rabid.
right into mutant dogs. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep. So
But that's something else I'd love to see is more wildlife.
I mean,
Yeah.
a carnies faction would or a roaming faction would kind of interesting to explore. And we did get fairgrounds and all kinds of stuff in '76, so it's not at the realms of possibility.
With
Look out,
mutated
that's
elephant,
incredible.
you could even
It'd be
bring
awesome,
that
Teaser.
further and expand on it. Like if you go back, let's go into the fantasy land where these enormous elephants were used for traveling.
I want to be a gypsy. Yep. Yep, I think it's, you know what, we dare to dream, why not? Why not?
Alright, I guess that about does it.
I hope you're watching Bethesda, you're probably not, you probably don't care about us, but yeah, we're giving you lots of ideas.
You better be taking notes.
You can just watch
If
it.
we have to repeat ourselves,
Oh.
you're not going to be happy.
Okay, I'm going to park it there for today. I thank you very much. It's been a fantastic discussion today, and it's gone in all kinds of different directions. Is what I love about you guys, and I knew I could trust you to come up with the weird and wacky stuff. It's it's been quite the journey. I'd like to make sure that we keep this going, and so I'll probably schedule another one for a couple of weeks' time. The check's in the mail, by the way, Gary. I hope your dressing room was cool enough, and
It was perfect.
and the M&Ms
Make sure
weren't
this
too
one
melty.
doesn't bounce.
Yeah, about that,
I'm
Mikey.
already well aware of the conversion rate from Australian to American, so don't try to short me either.
Yeah. What? It's all in caps. It's fine. What could possibly go wrong anyway?
Right?
It's always a pleasure, Vic, VG, and Mikey, to have you around and have you as part of this discussion. It really has. I'm really enjoying this whole series, and I'm really passionate about where it's taking us. And if Bethesda doesn't listen, it doesn't really matter. We're all having fun with the possibilities of what could come.
Honestly, by the time they make this game, none of us are going to remember what we've been saying.
That's why I want it on some kind of recorded medium. Hang on. VG has copious amount of notes on this, so we'll be fine. She has a large book with lots of notes. In fact, my ideas for the series are written on an A5 piece of paper, which I filled up very, very quickly. It's like a miniature poster size. I'm like, oh, damn. And then another piece of paper. Anyway.
Wait. We were supposed to prepare for this?
Yeah. Well, I'll keep telling you what the subjects are. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thank you to the whole community for coming out and supporting this series, guys. Please keep doing it. Keep giving me the ideas. It is, as I said as far as I'm concerned, inspirational. It energizes me, and we have another 2 already recorded episodes of the Fallout 5 series. I've got 1 nearly completed, so there's another 3 plus at least another couple of streams. So lots more to talk about, lots more to laugh about and think about. So thank you so much to the panel for being part of it. Good night, everybody. Take care, and we'll catch you next time on the channel. See
Thanks
ya.
again, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao, bambino.